lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final cast of BSL 2v2 Pro League. I am Curiosity, and today joining me is Jiraiya. What's up, man?
Hey, Sari.
How's it going,
man? Oh, same old
Pretty
here.
good.
I am excited for this finals.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great day. We have a slight modification. A lot of you are familiar with the winners bracket. Winner starting the finals with a 1-0 lead. This time it's going to be different. They're only going to need to win one best of 5, but whoever's coming from the losers bracket, they have to win 2 best of 5s. It is double elimination after all, and the winners bracket finalist hasn't lost, so they will have to lose 2 best of 5s to lose. But to start off, we have ZT versus ZP, Babo and Ultra against TT1 and Kenzie, and this is going to be a fantastic matchup. What do you think?
It looks like the losers bracket finals is going to be played on Python. I think that's a very interesting map, very fun map. ZT versus EP, you know, it doesn't get better than that. That's probably my most favorite matchup to play and cast because it's just so dynamic, and especially at this stage of the tournament where we have such high-level players, I'm expecting some really high-level play here.
And well, let's not forget, we gotta thank Zero for organizing this. Han, who's running things behind the scene, he's the one who made the bracket. You can see the graphic, how nice it looks. And if you guys want to see BSL 2v2 Pro League again, please donate whatever you can. Trying to reach that goal. This season, we were sponsored by Trovo, but we're looking to get the community to come in and sponsor the next round of BSL 2v2 Pro League. And the games have been fantastic. The tournament has been fantastic. The 2v2 scene is as alive as ever. So let's keep the ball rolling.
Absolutely. Come on, you 2 vs 2ers out there. Throw your support, donations, whatever. Let's keep this thing going. It's been a long time coming for 2 vs 2 to be structured in this type of format, tournament format. So, you know, it's finally arrived, and we need to keep showing support to Zero and the team to continue with this dream. So, show your support, guys. We very much appreciate it.
And looks like we're ready to jump into the first game of the first series. Let's go right ahead.
All right.
All right, in the 1 o'clock spawn in the color red, we have Kenzie. And his ally TT1 spawning across the map from him. TT1 in the 7 o'clock spawn.
Okay, we got Ultra, Terran, White in the 3 o'clock position, followed by his ally Babo in the 9 o'clock position. Zerg.
All right, so the question is Ultra gonna go mech? Because I would say of all the games I've seen, he's only gone by once or twice, but otherwise he's just been going mech.
Yeah, he seems to really enjoy mech. I think with Babo, it certainly makes sense to go mech. I've played a few games against this team myself on ladder and in this tournament, and I think every single game he's gone mech as the Terran against CP. So if I was a gambling man, Sari, I think I wagered a little bit on Ultra going mech here, but we'll see.
It looks like we have a 9 pull from Kenzie, and Babo on the other side has been going 12 pull every single game.
Yep.
And then one thing I'm wondering, Kenzie has also been playing random or Zerg, but I think he's been picking Zerg in these last few best of 5s. It's very tough competition. PP can be quite bad against Zerg Terran, so it makes sense for Kenzie to just pick Zerg. And here we have TT1 double gate, Kenzie with the 9 pull. Let's see what their plan is against the 12, the mech and the 12 pull.
Yeah, the one thing to note. So Babo's position. So that 9 o'clock position on Python is probably the worst position you can have in all of StarCraft. I mean, that's my opinion. But that location in particular, I'm not sure if this version of Python is adjusted for the mineral patches, but oh, it is. Okay. On the original version of Python, the way in which the mineral patches were laid out, it was just not optimal and was always the worst. But still, the positioning on the 9 o'clock position for Zerg on this spot is not ideal because you can't get your larva, or rather your what do you call the purple thing? Creep.
The creep?
You can't get the creep. So he's gonna put an insurance sunken down here. It looks like Kenzie actually made speed first and then the layer. So I think I would call that they're gonna try to
No,
break
layer
Bubbles. That was layer first. Okay, layer first followed by speed. Which is probably an interesting start. Babo's going to have his insurance sunken up, so I think they're planning to break this ramp here and seize the positioning.
Yeah, this is a little bit interesting because Babo actually went gas before the second hatch, so the second hatch is quite late, but he's going to have speed a lot faster than I think they're expecting.
Yeah.
And you can see how necessary this sunken is, but it's still awkward. Like in the other spawns, you can sunk in much better. But he should be fine here.
Yeah, what this means is, especially with Kenzie continuing to pump lings here, he's going to need the second sunken to be able to reach against the zealots on this ramp. Now, Babo's going to continue to make lings here, but Kenzie is as well. It looks like they're planning to break this. Nice arc here from the red team. Yeah, definitely favoring TT1 and Kenzie in this spot. That was a nice trade there. More lings are coming out, but they're going to be able to break down this sunken, which is going to really limit Babo's ability to be on the map. It's going to get close. Yeah, they're going to bring it down.
Hey, this is forcing Babo to make a ton of links. On the other side of the map, we have Ultra finally with his first factory out. Complete. First Vulture out on the map. TT1 already made cannons for both. And looks like both ramps are pretty sealed. First, Vulture's gonna go and help out Babo. Babo, in the meantime, desperately needs to get some spores up.
Yeah, definitely. But I really like that decision that TT1 and Kenzie made, where they decided to pull back. TT1 even sent, I think he sent some zealots to Kenzie as well. Cannons were way up in time, and at this point in the game, they're just waiting for the mutas to pop and be able to seize back some map control. Now, right now, Babo was forced to have to make some drones. He didn't make that secondary sunken that did go down. So at this stage, I would think he has probably less than 12 lings. So we'll kind of see what happens if he decides to continue to make lings. You know, Ultra is going to have to defend these 3 or 2 muta with the Goliaths. So we'll kind of see what they decide to do, whether it's continuing to mass or Babo deciding to mix in some additional drones and tech up to the layer, maybe do a muta ling combination versus just a singular ling commitment here. I've seen Babo kind of do both, where if they're in a position where the mutas are not really spotting the lings on the map, he'll kind of decide to hide them and continue to ling. I think Babo's going to decide to continue to ling in this spot, which means they're going to look for some sort of timing where they can do some sort of like coordinated attack, whether it's on the P or the Z.
Yeah, they kept Babo quite poor in the early game with that attack, and it meant that the Zealot Vulture or Ling Vulture attack that's pretty common before the cannons are set up basically never happened. And in the meantime, TT1, knowing they're going to mech, is just going to go into Dragoons here, and Dragoons against Goliaths are just fantastic. So far the strategy looks good for TT1 and Kenzie.
Yeah, and on this map on Python, I personally don't like Python because as a Terran player, I just hate having to make turrets. But But as you can kind of see, Ultra decided to make the eBay so that he can make the turrets. I think on this map, the dynamic is a little bit different, where he kind of has to make the turrets because he's so close to the Zerg. Zerg can literally knock on his door from his hatcheries. But this allows Ultra to kind of liberally send his army out, knowing that he's got the 2 turrets in the back. It kind of creates like a buffer for him for when when he respawns some Goliaths, he can defend himself. But TT1 and Kenzie here, they're gonna go on the map. The fact that Babo is not just flooding out Lings is really making them feel comfortable on just being on the map. So Babo is going to decide to layer up here. Not a ton of Lings, so that's interesting because typically when your Terran ally is going mech, you're going to want to make a lot of Lings to provide kind of like a meat shield against the Goliath and Muta combination. It's really needed, but we'll kind of see how this plays out. Right now, I kind of really enjoy TT1 and Kenzie's position here, just being able to liberally be on the map like this.
One thing we saw in the last series with Andy and Zergboy is that Andy always took an expansion, so that gave a good target for Babo and Ultra. And I don't know if they planned to not take Expos versus Mech, or because Python's natural is so huge and so easily bustable that they just opted for Kenzie to go 1 base.
Yeah, that's a good point. The ramp on this, not the ramp, the entrance of your natural on this map is quite large, so at the very least, you're going to need some cannon support and probably sunkens as well.
Alright, +1 is done for Ultra, but looks like he's trying to go out on the map to defend, but anytime Ultra moves out, there's always going to be the counter potential for Kenzie. So having map control is very important here, but without Babo making Lings, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, so the turret is kind of acting as a buffer here. Goliaths are in position, but this really forces Ultra to have to go back home. Babo's trying to sneak some Lings out. TT1 is trying to control that. TT1 is a very sizable army here. If I was Babo and Ultra, I do not feel comfortable coming out of the map anytime soon. That's a lot of units that can just collapse down on the Goliaths and or the Lings. It's going to be really hard at this stage of the game because of how things played out for Ultra and Babo to combine their armies. But as we can see, Goliaths are in the middle of the map here with the Lings. TT1's deciding to push. I think this push is okay, but I think they also have enough to just collapse on this army. I think because TT1 saw 1 sunken, he decided to make this push. But now he's going to be kind of cornered here in this natural spot. Still a lot of goons, but the mutas are on the way. There's Lings as well. I think they're going to be able to collapse on this, but we'll see kind of how this trades out.
This is a lot of mutas. They have +1 weapons, +1 carapace is almost done. The Lings did a lot to TP1's goon count, but now you can see there's no Lings left. Here comes another round from Babo, but the Goliath army gets eaten completely, and we still have like 7 or 8 Dragoons left from TT1.
Yeah. That was a nice trade there from Terran. TT1 and Kenzie. Deciding to fall back here. Kenzie's going to take his 3rd hatch or his natural base here. Very healthy drone count. Continue just production of mutas. He gets to stab at Terran's main base whenever he wants. This is really the benefit of Python when you're going such fast mute attack. You have this ability to go straight into Terran like this. But Ultra's going to have the turrets to kind of, buy him the time he needs. But TT1's going to decide to push the ramp here. I really like this play. Really good play. Nice double-pronged attack. Putting a lot of pressure on Ultra. And at this point, what can Babo do to help?
1 tank out for Ultra. That's going to save him here. But Babo is messing up mutas. The problem is his mutas are way behind on upgrades. Kenzie already has 1-1. Babo hasn't even started any upgrades. In a muta versus muta fight, he's going to get destroyed, so he can only really rely on counters.
Yeah, and one thing worth noting, Babo has 10 drones. That's extremely low, and I think it's because of all the pressure that the PZ team was doing. It forced them to make all these sunkens, all these spores. they're doing a really good job just commanding the map because, you know, Zerg Terran, as a lot of folks probably know, you know, you're most strong when you're able to combine forces, but TT1 and Kenzie are just not allowing them to do that. You know, they're all over the map. As soon as Ultra comes out, they collapse down on it, or if Babo comes out, they collapse on that. Really just seizing map control here, and that's really the winning formula that you want to have in this matchup, to be able to control Zerg Terran, not allow them to combine their forces, and really just kind of play this 2 versus 1 style where you're not going to allow them to join forces. I really like this play from Kenzie and TT1.
And this is something you don't see very often. Kenzie with the worker lead here, and he actually has an insane economy. He's working on +2, and +2 is a huge power spike for the Mutalist. Goliath's become basically ineffective, and every time Ultra makes a tank, it's one less Goliath. I think he just can't engage them. It's going to be very difficult for him and Babo to unite forces.
Yeah, 27 drones leading the peon count on the map. Really nice econ going for Kenzie, and it's gonna really allow him to mix in lings with the mutas that he has here. And yeah, it's 4 base versus 2 base. That's never a good situation. I'm not a mathematical guy, but I would think, you know, economically, that's just a very strong spot for TT1 and Kenzie. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the tanks are going to take away from the Goliath production, but mutas are being made on the part of Babo, so it's a little bit of a trade-off there. But, you know, like you said, the upgrades are just so strong for Kenzie. He's going to continue to probably even get +2 Carapace. He's got 2 gas up now. So Kenzie's really, really strong here. Obviously, TT1, you know, 2 gases or 2 bases as well. He's going to be able to continue to up this production. Ultra deciding to make a command center here. I think he's just going to siege up and just kind of anticipate an attack. Very nice positioning from Ultra. And we'll kind of see what Babo does. But Kenzie's going to backstab. He's going to continue to backstab, which forces Goliath to go up. And then I would think TT1 follows this up with an attack on his gate.
Yeah, Babo looks like he's going to go counter TT1. But 2 cannons and some Dragoons. TT1's ready for it.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, TT1 anticipated it. I think they spotted how many tanks there were and decided not to push.
Oh, these mutas might be caught!
Oh, boy.
It looks like only a couple go down, but this is going to at least have Terran and Zerg combined, but you can see their army is a lot weaker. The tanks have a lot of punching power, but TT1 has so many Dragoons, and as long as he can spread them out, minimize the tank spikes, looks like they're ready to go.
Oh, they're gonna slap this army silly. They just have to look at the supply. Kenzie almost has, no, Kenzie has more than their Terran. That is not the ratio you're looking for. Nice arc here from TT1. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure TT1 or Kenzie could have won that on their own. It was just their advantage was too large there. They had 2 bases for too long, and that was a pretty clean victory for Kenzie and TT1 there.
Yeah, dominant to say the least. Masterful play there. Just really not letting Babo or Ultra do much of anything. I would say.
Yeah, it basically from the get-go, they just put on so much pressure. Babo made 2 Sunkens, 1 was killed, forced to make another, and then he made something like 5 spores. Very awkward to defend there on very low eco for the majority of the game. Couldn't even get lings out on the map.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to change, but at least they have map pick now. Python. It's very difficult. It doesn't play like other maps really. So we'll see how things change in map number 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what adjustments Babo and Ultra is gonna have. I think mech on Python is just you know, you don't often see it at the highest levels. You often see bio and vessel tech, and I think that's the case for a reason. What's that, Zero? Okay, so the next map is going to be Allegro, which is going to play very different than Python. So I think whatever adjustments that Bubbo and Ultra is going to have, you know, this map is definitely going to serve better for them, since Python has, you know, that very close vicinity dynamic that just really changes everything.
All right, and we're ready to go into game number 2 here. It's going to be on Allegro. All right, in the top left spawn, in the color red, we have Jiren, aka Babo. And in the bottom left, we have Ultra, which means in the bottom right, we have TT1. And in the top right, we have Kenzie. So left versus right, one thing to mention, last game was also cross map. So even harder for the Zerg Terran team to unite. Better map for them and better spawns as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think as the Zerg Terran team and Babo and Ultra, in these spawns, it's additionally beneficial for them because, well, first of all, this map is larger than Python, but also Protoss is cross map from where Babo is, which tends to be favorable for his style of play, where he's going to go to the 12 pool and try to get his ramp. That just means it takes that much longer for the Zealots to climb all the way up to try to put that same pressure.
Here we go. Is he gonna do it? Too early? Doesn't have minerals. Well, even forcing gas before barracks would be annoying here. So TT1's just dancing around the geyser, and he's gonna go for it.
Nice.
And this is quite annoying. Even go ahead.
No, go on.
Yeah, this is annoying. Even if they were gonna go bio, you still don't want to get gas stolen this turn. So TT1 going for the final scout, gets the good scout, and steals the gas. So already a nice small advantage here for Zerg Protoss.
Well, there's a little bit of a trade-off here. So TT1, the Protoss player, did spend the 100 on the gas, but what that does is it slows down his ability to make his second gate. So I think the call that he just made to Kenzie in the communication of light pressure certainly makes sense, because he's not going to have the second and third Zealot out as quick as if you were just going straight up 2-gate without the gas steal. So I think the trade-off here is Babo can probably forego the insurance sunken, but he's gonna make it anyways. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, definitely with the gas steal and cross map Protoss, it's only gonna be one Zala, and you'll have 10 lings when they get to you. So a little bit curious to make that insurance sunken. I mean, the second hatch this game is gonna be even faster because you went hatch before gas.
Yeah, right. So Babo kind of identifies the situation here. He's going to go back up his ramp. I think he was thinking about, so he's going to engage 8 lings versus 6 lings here, which is the right count that you want to have. But the sunken will be made. I was curious if he was going to keep that as a creep and then maybe use it for a spore later. But they don't have a full read on what is going on, so I think he's just playing it a little bit safer. Ultra's going to have a 6 Marine timing here, so knowing that there's full tilt pressure towards his ally, he's going to take a sneak peek here, go towards the Protoss, which I think cannons are going to be made in time for that. So this move out is just really just kind of keeping them honest. Yeah, second sunken going down. I don't know if I love that play of making the insurance sunken as sunken at the time he did, but here we are. A lot of lings here for Babo. He should have enough to break this. Speed just kicked in. Nice arc here.
Good positioning of the Zealots, but Babo will clean this up.
It's a nice trade there. It kind of whittled down the ling force. we'll see what they decide to do. Ultra is gonna get up to 3-rack production, and I would imagine Bubble's gonna drone up here. Yeah, he's making drones. He's gonna put those lings down on the map, and I think what a lot of players tend to do is give their ally their first group of MM to delay the need of making the spore, but we'll see kind of how they decide to play this out. I lost my visual.
This stim is quite late from Ultra due to the gas steal. It's only now halfway done. We already have double cannon at both ramps. Both ramps also plugged, so unlikely to get anything done with the timing. So you see Bobbles just droning up, and they're gonna play defensively here. Kenzie lost an overload. I missed that.
Yeah, I think Ultra gave 2 Marines to Babo, and those 2 Marines did it. Yeah.
Yeah, Bao is going to Bobbles base, but there are those 3 spores. He should be fine. It's only a handful of mutants here. One almost actually goes down. That's very important.
Oh, for sure. The first 3 mutas you want to definitely continue to keep alive, and you know, ideally this first group of MM, you want to be able to send it to your ally so that your ally doesn't need to make the spores as quickly as he did. Oh, picks off muta, picks off 2. That's huge. That's
this
huge.
is gonna delay everything. Basically, as Zerg, you're waiting for that 7 mutas so you can dive on Terran, snipe some SCVs, weaken their economy. But already getting rid of 2 mutalists is huge. This means Ultra's not gonna need turrets for a very long time. Babo basically doesn't need spores other than the ones he already has, and he can safely go there, and he's getting a really nice economy here.
Yeah, I think Kenzie was a little bit thrown off because he knows that there were 2 Marines at Bubbo's base. He probably assumed that Marines were not in the middle of the map and kind of got caught in the middle of the map with his pants down. So really good play from Ultra, almost like a one-on-one style where you keep your army out against the muta. Very confident style. I like this play from Ultra. We don't see it often where he goes bio like this, but certainly a viable build for him.
Yeah, TT1's saying counter, but Kenzie has 3 mutalists, maybe 4. It would be a lot more deadly if it were 6. 1 turret and just a small group bio enough to fend this off.
Yeah, and with the map being as large as it is, it takes a while for Kenzie to get to this side of the map. So he's only here with 5. He needs to be careful of the rallies of the mutas. He's deciding to stay home with those rallies, which I think is a good thing. But like you said, this is going to allow the Zerg and Terran to combine their forces as they are and comfortably tech up to layer from Babo. Kenzie's gonna take a sneak peek here. Second spores are going down. Good timing from Babo. TT1's gonna try to take an expo here with the DTs out, but a lot of forces coming down. These lings are just trying to delay the cannons from coming up, and at this point, I think Ultra's gonna have a lot of scans banked. So it's gonna be really hard for TT1 to get his second pass.
And Ultra curiously made a couple of fire bats. I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah.
But now he has to be careful because there's a DT out. The bio is small, and this is enough mutals with good control. Double stem there. I think that was a little bit of a mistake. Mutals do have +1, so this is huge. They delayed TT1's expansion, but they lose the army, which is never good for Zerg Terran. Now they basically have no map control. Babo is getting out his own mutalist, so Kenzie does have to be careful.
Yeah, I think when you're going 3-rack, Ultra should have a sizable follow-up here. Yeah, so he's got over 12 units, a control group. He's gonna have vessel tech up. I wouldn't say it's the end of the world, but they didn't lose. TT1 and Kenzie didn't lose a lot to have to dwindle that army. So nice little angle here from Kenzie, picking off a sunken, a straggler there. This is going to continue to kind of heighten Babo's desire to play defensive. Not a lot of eyes on the map.
The one saying "I got it" when there's one Zergling attacking his Kenzie's expansion. And we have the first Dark Archon out, so this is going to really help neutralize, actually 2 Dark Archons already, neutralize the effectiveness of Bobo's Mutalisk. We need Ultra to get those Science Vessels. It's a little bit late, I think. Really powering up on those bio groups, and you can see... Oh! Okay, that's a nice volley there. Mutalisk still have +1. Starts to get a little bit scary when Mutalisk get 1-1, but the Vessels will help in that.
Yeah, vessels are what you need to play against ZP. Not just to irradiate the mutas, but also using those vessels to combat the High Templars potentially with irradiates. There's so much practical uses of vessels in this matchup that it just makes it a necessity. Nice micro here from Kenzie. I really like this play. DA is out. It's gonna feed back that vessel. So that first vessel probably banked up in a radiate, but no longer has that magic.
Those are very nice. Here. Storm is almost done, but not quite yet. There's not a lot of medics. Finally, the medics arrive. This is not going to be an easy hold. TT1 can't really support until he has Storm. Couple Sunkens, but the bio eats right through that, and looks like a little bit of an overextension. The key here was getting that feedback. It gave them so much time, and looks like they're gonna switch targets here. They don't know that there's no Storm here. I think they're gonna go TT1 or just have map control, and maybe we have Ultra expand here.
Yeah, that DA feedback was a huge momentum shifter. I think with an irradiate, they can very confidently decide to just stim and take down that second gas, even though Kenzie was putting up 2 Sunkens. You know, you never know. In this spot, when ZT has the map control and is continuing to mass, it's a very dangerous spot from ZP. I think most ZP teams like to play poised and get their defenses up, their storms, their DAs, and all of that. So at this stage of the game, you can certainly say that the ZT team has the the initiative to make something happen.
Oh, that's nice, a massive irradiate. Kenzie a little bit slow on the split. Doesn't lose. Oh, okay. Takes a lot of damage, but ends up only losing 1 Mutalisk. We have the DAs around TT1S2. And he's finally going up in gateways. He actually has double forge, so he's going to have a very nice army pretty soon. He already has +1 armor. And Ultra's really late and really slow on that expansion. You can see the command center main in the main about to finish now.
Yeah, it looks like Bobo is deciding to... I don't know if that's a hatchery he's trying to make. Nice irradiate.
Oh, Dark Archon.
Oh, baby. He's got it.
Huge Storm. Doesn't actually kill the Mutalisk, but kills some bio, and now all the Mutalisks are bruised up for Bobo. So, all in all, I think that was even, because we lost the Dark Archon, we got the feedback, and the Maelstrom. We got some bio, but a lot of Kenzie's Mutalisks ended up damaged as well. So, all in all, probably even. But the real thing is, look at this army from TT1. He's already gotten his expansion up and mining for like 4 minutes. Ultra is only now taking his.
He's got a couple of probes in that army as well, making them really earn their paycheck. A lot of Terran units coming down here. Let's see if we can get some nice storms. Mutas are going to be able to pick off these High Templars.
Yeah, but not before we get a couple storms. We get a lot of bio surviving the Maelstrom, and now they're going to be able to clean up TT1's army. TT1 full retreat here. Lost a lot of expensive units there.
Yeah, definitely a good trade for the ZT team, and the pendulum is kind of swinging back in their favor, I would say, because there's just so much army here. Kenzie's doing a good job of distracting the Terran, forcing him to pull back his vessels, putting pressure away from TT1. But you know, Kenzie's gonna have to run away. This is a lot of mutas and a lot of vessels. He's gonna get caught here. I don't know about this from Kenzie. And just like that, all of Kenzie's mutas are going to be taken down here. TT1 needs to make more Dark Archons. In this spot, you got to make more Dark Archons. You got to try to prolong the game.
But one thing, I don't think we have EMP from Ultra. That's the one upgrade that's missing here.
Got one more Storm left in that High Templar.
Good split
on the
from Ultra, though.
Yeah, he only lost one Marine from that Storm. Paltry number of mutas left for Babo, but still doing work.
Ooh, we have a nice counter attack from Kenzie, and he's not going to be able to kill it, but he got several drones here. And you gotta remember, Kenzie still has the double gas, so he can make up his muralist count. And I think he has a big upgrade advantage on... actually, we have Link switch here. We're getting +1 weapons. Another hatchery, and... not a lot of murals, only one.
Yeah, Kenzie tends to do this. Where he transitions into cracklings and defiler tech. I think when there's this many vessels out, it behooves him to cut down a little bit on the meter production and get the hive tech up. They're gonna be able to take this base down, I think. That high tempo needs to survive. Ooh.
Yeah, this is a lot of bio left over, and they're well upgraded here. Yeah. And again, TT1 is alone. Ling's on the other side of the map. I don't really see a counterattack. Kenzie only now moving out. So this base is dead. TT1 able to save the probes, but he's going to lose his army yet again.
Yeah, things are kind of falling apart here for TT1 and Kenzie. I think there were a couple of spots where they made some mistakes, probably losing their armies separately, which, you know, what they did so well the first game and not allowing Babo and Ultra to combine. This game, as we can kind of see how it all played out, when Babo and Ultra are able to combine forces and seize control of the map, it really shows just how strong Zerg Terran could be when they're able to work together on the map. And you know, we see nothing but red in the middle of the map. This is what you want as a Zerg Terran. You want to be on the map. You want to be able to see the timings of when they decide to take more bases, when they decide to come out and and allows them to react and get their armies in position. So, so yeah, the momentum is definitely towards the Zerg Terran team right now. And with the scans, Ultra's going to see everything. I think he's even fine without having to get the EMP. He's just got so many vessels at this point. There's not much that they can do to whittle that down.
And critically, we haven't lost a single vessel. Ultra's done a really good job at keeping them all alive.
Yeah, I haven't seen have you seen a DA, Sari? I don't think there's any DAs left. So that's really gonna allow Babo to be confident. Nice snipe there from Kenzie, taking out Babo's second gas. It's very nice.
He's doing a lot with a lot of Zerglings, able to keep the pressure on and keep the Zerg Terran team distracted. Meanwhile, he's trying to take 12 o'clock. It's unlikely to live if they ever scout that, but doing a really good job of keeping the action away from them. It's going to allow TT1 to maybe take a third base. And another nice link counterattack going to deny another base.
Yeah, really well done from Kenzie. The way to get back in this game for TT1 and Kenzie, as I see it, is going to be this defiler. If Kenzie is able to push by himself towards Zerg, to give Zerg a reason to have to go back home and potentially even lose all of his tech, I think Kenzie's going to have an opening here. With Terran's army focusing on Protoss here, Kenzie might be able to do that. And as long as TT1 can kind of deal with this himself, I could see them swinging back into favor here. Now, Kenzie is pulling back from Babo. Really, this effort. Ooh, nice play. Nice play. Wow.
It's a very valuable spell. He's gonna go for another one here, but he's got to be careful again. The vessels are the real threat here. And you can see the army's pulling away from TT1. TT1 actually snuck 3 o'clock. They were focusing a lot on the middle only, but TT1, look, he's setting up cannons, I think, at 3 o'clock, trying to get that base up. Oh, we have Swarm on the ramp. Looks like 12 is gonna go out. But meanwhile, we have cracklings in Babo's base. And TT1 is gonna get 3 o'clock established.
Very nice, very nice.
We do have Ultra finally taking, defending 9 o'clock, so at least Babo's gonna have that expansion up.
Ooh, another catch up. Another catch up on those mutas. Very nice.
What are the upgrades? You have 2-1 on. We only have 1 eBay. I think TT1's double forging, so yeah, he's getting ahead in upgrades. Looks like the Lings were able to kill a lot. Babo's main is basically mined out, so he's desperately gonna need this expansion. Oh, the Dragoon AI is a little bit dumb here. The bio was able to do a ton of damage, but with the Swarm, we finally have Scourge. Looks like one of the vessels goes down. Mutalisk completely useless against Dragoons under Swarm. Very nice push here from Kenzie and TT1.
Yeah, really a beautiful display of Defiler use. You can see that. Often you see the Defiler and Lings together, but to see the Zealots underneath that storm as well is just it's what makes 2 vs 2 so much fun.
Yeah, but now we have huge reinforcements from Ultra, able to push back the bio, the Protoss army with his bio. Kenzie still has a lot of Lings on the map. I like that he's mixing in Scourge. If you can neutralize the air for Terran, get rid of other vessels, bio alone is pretty weak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Kenzie's going to continue to use his gas for Defiler and getting a lot of value from it. I think the critical thing here right now is TT1 has a second gas going, so it's going to allow him to continue to get his upgrades up and make these high gas units. Yeah, they're going to be able to sandwich this army here, which is just going to take that much more presence away from that, Terran army, which is what they want to do. These little battles. Now, Ultra's going to continue to have a lot of units, but I think that second gas is really important because his main gas is probably depleted at this point, but that second gas is going to allow TT1 to continue to make goons and High Templars in addition to these Zealots. And with these upgrades, it's going to make it a real tough challenge for the Terran army to be able to trade effectively.
+3 armor is done. We finally have EMP, but as you can see, Ultra with the 1 eBay, he hasn't been able to keep up on upgrades. And with that Plague earlier, Babo's been basically neutralized for like 2 minutes. His Mutalisk just in the back healing. All of them were 1 shot away from being killed, so can't really risk it. Another Plague, this time on the bio. We have an EMP, gets a couple High Templars, but instantly morph into an Archon, and another victory with the usage of the Defiler and a nice counterattack. A lot of action across the map. Kenzie making it chaotic, and looks like they're gonna go on Zerg, and there's not much defense here.
There's nothing. There's nothing. They can literally just walk up Babo's base and just kill him right now.
Oh, we're catching the vessels.
Nice catch. Oh, that Kenzie's Defiler lane play is actually it's probably the MVP here. Really swung the favor, swung it in their favor. Yeah, they're gonna GG. Wow.
Yeah, he was able to get Swarm on Zerg's ramp, Mutalisk Reek, and TT1 is able to pounce on Babo's last mining base, and that was very exciting game overall. A lot of back and forth action, and it looked a little bit dicey there for TT1 and Babo, but they were able to pull it out.
Yeah, that's that is TZ versus PZ in a nutshell, where it's just constant back and forth trading. One team might have an edge here after a skirmish, and then all of a sudden the other team swings back with the defiler tech there. Really good decision from Kenzie to slow down on the muta, spend that gas, teching up, getting his Queen's Nest, the Hive, and the Defiler, and the Consume and the Plague and all that. I would say that Defiler, probably with the havoc that he was able to wreak, got them back. You know, was able to allow TT1 to get his base, his second base at 3 o'clock. Really good play, because for a moment there, Babu and Ultra seemed to be in a winning position.
Yeah, I'm only a little bit curious why they didn't go Kenzie when they had all the map control. They must have suspected T1 had Storm ready, but it missed opportunity there. But all in all, really well played. Ultra's Bobble looked very strong. I wonder if he's gonna go bio again. I think we can take a short break here before going into game number 3, if that's fine.
Yeah, that works for me.
Alright guys, we're gonna take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 3 of this best of 5. All right, welcome back, guys. We are here in the semifinals. TT1 and Kenzie are up 2-0 against Ultra and Babo, but that last game could have gone either way, really back and forth. And what do you think? Do you think there's a shot for them? Can they come back from 2-0?
I think it'll be tough. I think it'll be tough. I mean, obviously Vegas is gonna have TT1 and Kenzie very favored here since they are 2-0. I think the TT1 gas steal, forcing Ultra to play sort of out of his element since he does like to go mech a lot in this matchup. Is a little bit of a mind trick that we'll see kind of what happens in the next game. But I think if they can stick to their plan, which I think is going to be the mech style, with a Ling heavy kind of open from Babo, that's kind of the root of their play. If they can do that, I would like to see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, you never know. These guys are all very high level. I think there's like 80 years of BroodWar experience between the four of these guys. So you never know. You can't count out Babo. He's an OG of 2 vs 2. So I would say there's a slight chance, but definitely leaning towards Kenzie and TT1.
I got to agree there. And looks like we're ready for game number 3, and it's going to be on Gemlong. Let's jump right into that.
Let's get into it.
All right, guys, here we go. Top left spawn, we have Ultra. His ally all the way across the map. Jaren in the bottom right. Kenzie, top right. Blue Zerg, and bottom left we have TT1. So cross map spawns. This is not ideal for Zerg Terran. It's going to be a little bit harder in the early game for the Zerg to defend.
Yep.
And what do you think about this map overall, Gemlong?
I like this map. It's a good map. It's big. It's not huge. There are ramps, so it's. I think with these spawns, like you said, with the cross map, we'll kind of see. So Kenzie's gonna go with the 9 pull here. Babo also going 9 pull. This is gonna be very interesting. So the way that this is gonna play out early game is, what Babo decides to do with his early lings and how well can Kenzie be able to match that, because when we have kind of a dual 9 pull situation, what often happens is Babo is going to have the initiative to want to do something with his lings and really not allow himself to get contained by the Protoss. So TT1 is right next to him. So I think TT1 is going to elect to go the standard 2 gate. He didn't gas Ultra. So we'll kind of see. Obviously, this type of open from Babo is going to be less economically favorable, but he will get the early lings. He will get the speed first, and we'll have to see what Kenzie does to try to match that, because Kenzie's approaching 100 gas here. Babo's already punching ling speed, so let's see if we get a layer here first from Kenzie or the ling speed. Nice pylon block from TT1. Yeah, that's gonna be the layer first. So Babo's gonna get his speed up infinitely quicker, which is gonna allow him to make something happen.
I'm looking at TT1 Zealots, not going across the map, finally moving out. I think he's, because they don't know where the lings are, he's a little bit cautious.
Yep. Yeah, I would think he's gonna wait for 3 Zealots before moving out. And being that Kenzie's
oh man, this wall. Speed. So this is something I've seen from Ultra a lot, where he goes this wall, which isn't Zergling type, but because Babo's going 9 pull, it's fine. Because otherwise, he could get punished for this pretty badly. Everything, the vultures would spawn outside. It's not link tight. This is just not an ideal wall.
Yeah, And Ultra is doing a good job of keeping his SCV sort of in check of where those Lings, Kenzie's Lings are. Now, Ling speed is done from Babo, and looks like Marines are actually on the way. At least one Marine is on the way to go towards Kenzie as well. Cannon is being up. Nice arc here from Kenzie, but there are more Lings from Babo. This game might just be over right now. We'll see what happens, but this is kind of what I said. You know, it's going to give Babo the initiative, and
yeah, a little bit late on the drone pull as well. Lings on top of the cannon. It's not going to allow to complete. The probe is still alive, which is key. You have some Lings popping out for Kenzie finally. Like, clutch hold here, but the probe does get taken out. So TT1's going to have to be quick about sending another one. Oh man, more cannons are going to get taken out here. At least one.
I think they're okay. So TT1 did move his Zealots over to Babo, and it looks like he's sitting on Babo's ramp. So these 4 Lings are the only Lings that are going to be out on the map. Looks like Babo's going to position himself here to try to sandwich that Zealot army so he can break that contain. But for now, Kenzie and TT1 are in an okay position. The ramps are secured. I don't think Kenzie lost any drones.
Babo lost an Overlord.
Oh, he must have lost it to the cannon at TT1. That is very, very bad.
It's quite painful. You can see he's only on 5 drones now. He's going to have to get those spores up. Luckily for him, he actually went... Well, you're basically forced to go double hatchery at the main. There's no way he could afford going 9 pool and that many Lings to go triple spore. So he's going to have to rely on just 2 spores here. They're going to try to put some pressure on, but TT1 already has cannons, and because they were able to keep Babo in his base, the 2 cannons that are at Kenzie's base is going to be enough here. And they're the first Mutalisk on, and we actually have mines this time.
Yeah, I would say these mines, like typically Terran's going to send his vultures to Protoss and mine the Protoss, but I kind of like these mines as well. It kind of provides vision. A little bit on the middle of the map, and he knows that Kenzie made a bunch of Lings because he needed to survive that early skirmish. So we'll see kind of if those mines get value. But a probe did make it over to Kenzie, so he's gonna have that. Second sport is gonna be up for Babo. I think this game is just going towards more of a mass style play, where Babo is going to have to continue to make Lings. There's not going to be a layer anytime soon. Ultra in position to keep that Overlord alive, and I would think he's going to follow this up with an eBay as well. So so this is going to be more, I think, in the style that they're accustomed to, which is mass style. But yeah, Babo did drone up nicely here, so he is stabilizing his economy enough to be able to keep those larvas moving. Kenzie's going to get his second hatchery up. So for now, Zerg Terran probably can have map position here. I mean, these mutas are going to keep Babo from leaving his base. But hard to say kind of who's in a favorable position.
We're getting a nice pick off here on an Overlord. Very annoying, like the spores from Babo. Not ideal placement. You can see leaves the gas exposed, leaves his evolution chamber exposed. But Ultra is gonna come here, barely missing another Overlord kill.
Yeah, huge.
I like how Ultra is doing it. He's sending 3 in the main, and he's gonna send the rest to the where he knows Kenzie's gonna retreat, but just a little bit late. Not gonna be able to pick off any mutal. Oh, makes it Kenzie's retreat is not perfect. 1 Mutalisk goes down. Good maneuvering there from Ultra. Ooh, actually, second mutal.
Yeah, based on this, based on those 2 Muta snipes, I wonder if Ultra is even gonna make an eBay. Because clearly Zerg Terran here is gonna have the map control. A lot of red is going towards Kenzie. Kenzie's being forced to make sunks as well. I think they're really scared of being broken here, and rightfully so. Babo and Ultra are gonna try to pierce through this ramp. A lot of units are coming up this spot here. flooding the cannons. The cannons are gonna take the damage. Wow, that's a lot of units. This is a really good timing attack from Babo and Jiren, Babo and Ultra. Those...
Yeah, 2 seconds in the back. Definitely needed here. The Mutalisks doing their best to pick off the Lings, but the Lings, they have a lot of DPS, and you can see they're just not being taken out, and effectively have broken the ramp. And there's just too many Goliaths left over here. Looks like they're gonna go Terran and hope this breaks. Full wall here from Ultra, but again, 1 Goliath spawns outside the wall, instantly gets picked off. This is actually not a lot of Goliaths. Only 3 were the Mutalisks from Kenzie. It looks like they're arriving now. Babo needs to send the Lings ASAP.
A Muta singular. Kenzie's eliminated. These Lings are going to be here in time. Just too many units here. I think there wasn't much TT1 could have done, but yeah, I think after this game, Kenzie and TT1 are really going to be kicking themselves for letting them breach the ramp like that. Typically, when you have 4 cannons, 8 Zerglings, and Mutas out, you don't see Zerg Terran teams just deciding to A-move up the ramp, but that's what happened, and that's how they'll lose.
Yeah, losing those 2 Mutalisks was pretty painful there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Babo and Ultra, they get 1 game. They brought it 2-1. They're on their way to the comeback. That was pretty short game, but a very well executed timing. Babo switching things up, going for that 9 pull. Let's see what they do next, because they're still down. They're still down 1 game, and now we're gonna have map choice for Zerg. What would you actually pick here?
Can they repeat maps?
No.
Okay. Then can't see this visual here, but Kazari's it's probably the least favorable for ZT. It kind of plays like Python a little bit. It's also very large. So not Kazari's. I know that doesn't answer your question. Can't see the graphic here to see the other maps, but you know, maps like Allegro, Fighting Spirit, I think those maps play well. You know, like we kind of said prior to the match, the mech style that that Ultra likes to do, and the Lings from Babo. I mean, that's what they need. That's their kind of bread and butter. That is how they tend to win in this matchup. So I think if they can continue to kind of have that style of play, you know, a strong open where Babo doesn't take damage, which didn't happen last game, you know, that full tilt kind of style, you know, they definitely have a puncher's chance here.
You know what I like in particular? I actually like reverse tempo. I don't know if you agree. I feel like Dragoon Zergling is just a deadly comp in the early game on reverse tempo. Yeah, the reverse ramp, it's very hard for Terran. The natural does have a semi-wall, but it's impossible to get like a depot Dragoon wall when you're facing past Dragoon. But like you said, it is going to be Kisserus. So a good map for its Protoss. And let's go jump right into that. Game number 4. We're still match point for T1 Kenzie. Can they pull it off here? All right, is it fine now?
Yep, it's good.
Okay. In the top left, we have TT1. And in the bottom, we have Kenzie. Which means in the bottom right, we have Ultra. And then top middle, we have Jiren. So top middle, this is kind of an awkward base for spores, but you can't get the creep is pretty close to the ramp.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a ZP map. I was kind of brain farting earlier when you were talking about the maps. I was thinking it from the perspective of ZT. This is the map that I would choose for ZP, and the reason for that is it plays a lot like Python, where the spawns are very close from each other, which in a ZP situation, you know, the mutas are going to be that much closer to hitting the enemy spawn. So this is very much a ZP map. It'll be interesting to see if... Oh, we got a gas steal here from TT1.
This is already... You can see Ultra was setting up for that wall with the mech. It's going to be forced into bio, but his bio still looks strong. Looks like he's going to put 2 SCVs on gas, which... I mean, before the Brax is even out, he definitely wants to get mech here, it seems like. And we have full pull from Babo. And there's a ramp at the hatchery. The hatchery at the ramp, I should say.
Yeah.
And Kenzie,
Yeah,
this time around, he went over pool instead of 9.
Yeah, right. Which is a little bit more economic than the 9 pull open that he was doing. It's going to allow him to decide on the order of his tech. If he does the layer first or the speed first, he's probably going to do the layer first. But with an overpull, you're going to have that extra drone mining, which allows him to get both layer and speed at a pretty decent timing and continue to make those lanes. So TT1 is sending Zealots over to Babo. Ultra is electing to stick with the bio. But Babo is a master when it comes to 12 pull versus overpull and Zealot timing. I think he's going to engage here, and we'll see if he decides to make the... Okay, he's going to spawn the insurance sunk, so I think just playing it a little bit safer. But you can argue in these positions that Bubble can probably even defend without that insurance sunken against an overpull and a gas steal Protoss from TT1.
And you can see TT1 told Kenzie, first Zealots at you, at Babel, and then second and third at your base. Last game, their ramp got broken, so this time around, TT1 Zealots are going to be extremely useful. And Ultra looking to take advantage of this and sending out a 6 Marines to Kenzie's base. So if it wasn't for these 2 Zealots, Kenzie would actually take a lot of damage here.
Yeah, TT1 did send his second and third Zealots to Kenzie. Now, those are ninja Zealots. Those are ninja Zealots. I think he did that by accident, but in all honesty, the fact that there's even 2 Zealots there is probably making Ultra just freaking totally spaz out mentally, because those Zealots were not are not typically there, but they were there, and perfect kind of just seeing ahead of the situation for T21 to make that decision. And they're going to comfortably be able to deal with this, I would imagine. There's a Sunken being warped as well, just in case. One Zealot heavily down, that one goes down. Second Zealot taking a lot of hits, also going to go down. But the Sunken will be up. There's a lot of Lings. The Marines need to target fire the Sunken or the drones. Probe is doing work as well. Nice drone pull from Kenzie. This is going to be tight. This is going to be tight.
And there's more Marines coming from Ultra. 5 more Marines.
Oh, man.
Losing the probe, the cannon, was absolutely crucial. I think they just... too much damage there. There's the GG. And even though TT1 sent those second, third Lings, they weren't at the ramp. They weren't blocking. And because Bobble went for just max Lings, you could see how quickly they were able to end the game once that probe went down.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was gonna be like a big brain move from TT1, but like having those 2 Zealots there, but yeah, they weren't in position. It was a good try on trying to defend that. I think had Kenzie made Ling speed, he might have been able to get back a little bit sooner and be able to carve down those Marines prior to Babo's reinforcements coming, but in either case, that was tight and really nice move from Ultra, having the game sense to go out there as he did.
Yeah. All right, so we're tied 2-2. They've managed to bring it all the way back. Can they close it out, or will TT1 and Kenzie win game number 5? And we are ready. Let's go right to that. It's going to be on Vermeer. Let's go.
Let's get into it. Game 5 doesn't get more exciting than this, boys.
All right. In the top left, we have Ultra in the color blue. In the top right, Babo, his ally, aka Jiren. It's close spawns yet again. Bottom right, we have TT1. And bottom left, we have Kenzie. And after those 2 quick losses, they gotta be pretty frustrated. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna play as safely as possible.
Yeah, I'm I'm looking like an idiot over here, counting Babo and Ultra out, but yeah, those 2 games, I think they just executed just perfectly, and now you got to give them the momentum to be able to come out from a ditch of 0-2 and winning the next 2 and challenging them for a game 5. I think in terms of confidence, I'd be feeling pretty good if I were Babo and Ultra in this spot.
And TT1 is gonna scout Zerg first, so not Terran. Is he gonna go gas steal anyway? Let's see.
Typically, gas steal against Zerg is not ideal against 12 pool, but we'll see what happens here. Because he's going to delay the gas either way to make that second hatch quicker. He's making that 12th drone. So that 12th drone is going to be the one to make the second hatch, followed by the gas. Kind of Bubbo's bread and butter there. And is Kenzie going 9 pool? What is that? Looks like over pool.
Oh man, look at Ultra's wall. It's going to be factory barracks, but I think everything spawns outside.
Yeah, it'll be linked tight, right? It'll be linked tight, but the Marine and the Vulture spawn out.
I actually don't think it's even linked tight, because if you know bottom, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, it is linked tight. It's going to be linked tight, but he needs to get this Marine inside, then he'll be safe. Because I remember bottom right Fighting Spirit, you can get a link tight wall there as well, but you need a depot on top of the factory. So same situation. There's a wall, and there's a Marine spawning on the inside. Against 9 pool, this can be a little bit scary, but against overpool, it's fine. You just get the Marine in.
Yeah. Yeah, and that SCV was able to spot everything. TT1's probe is able to spot everything. So everything going pretty standard right now. This is a top versus bottom situation. So I think that's good for Babo and Ultra, being that they're next to each other. They're going to be able to combine their forces easier. But yeah, early pressure being sent towards Babo. The insurance sunken is made. We'll see if Kenzie and TT1 decide to commit to a contain here, or maybe a push, but probably the former, and just kind of playing more of a contain style. And Kenzie's gonna like to go back a little bit. Yeah, they're gonna pull up back from this. I think they spotted that Bubble was making that second sunken. So I like this play from Kenzie and TT1. It's safer, and is really just going to increase their chances of getting this game into mid game.
Yeah, this doesn't allow Bubble to break out right away, but cannons are being set up. Zealots at Kenzie's ramp and TT1's ramp as well. One of the big things in that game on, what was it? The third game, where they were able to break Kenzie's ramp even with links. So that's a lot beefier. It's harder to break the ramp when there are 2 or 3 Zealots clogging it. And we actually have add-on first. Ooh, Kenzie snipes the first Vulture. One of the deficits of this wall. Absolutely massive. That's 3 less mines out on the map.
Yeah. Oh, nice pick off from Kenzie here.
Gotta be careful. Might get. Oh! Oh my
Get the
god.
second.
Okay, 3 is just no way. There's no way. Oh my god.
No way. We got Jadong out here with the vulture snipes. That is absolutely huge. Like you said, those are 9 mines that that will not be on the map. And you know what? He's forced to have to make Goliaths. He's probably got mine upgrade done, but he's got no vultures to plant mines. So definitely a huge move from Kenzie, and it's just going to allow for the Protoss to be in a better position. Now there is 1 vulture, so there will be 3 mines, but Kenzie does a really good job of giving his ally an OV anyways. So I noticed he did that last game. It didn't obviously get to that point, but every game I've noticed Kenzie sends TT1 an Overlord, which I think is very smart.
Can we get a couple SCVs maybe? Well, looks like good defense here from Ultra, but yeah. 3, I mean, it was only with like 10 links that he was able to get 3 vultures. He even got a couple links from Bubble, so extreme value. We have TT1 going to the 3 gate with +1 carapace for the Mutalist, and we have the second hatchery as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that Bubble is deciding to spore up and tech to layer. So he's got a handful of lings here, which is going to defend him against any counterattacks. But he's not going to have as many lings as he did in the prior games where they won. So it'll be interesting to see how much Babo decides to drone versus lings, and what that composition will look like once he gets the Spire up. If it's going to be sort of a hybrid of Ling Mass with Muta, I think he's going to have to drone up right now a little bit more after fortifying the Spire spores in those positions. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. He's going to make the Spire, he's going to continue to make some drones, and I would imagine follow it up with kind of a Ling plus Muta style, which, you know, could be pretty effective, but obviously he's not going to have 24 Lings at this stage of the game, so I don't see like an early push happening anytime soon. Ultra is electing to make the eBay, make the turrets, so it's going to give him the ability. Nice snipe there. Nice snipe. He's got the range upgrade done. He's going to get on the middle of the map. Kenzie's just cleaning up all the spotters on the map. Spotters that Babo sends out in the middle of the map to see the positioning.
Alright, TT1 sending out stray zealots to clean up any mines. There are mines, but not a ton. Again, we lost 3 vultures. I think he actually even made a couple extra ones after his armory was already done. And TT1 is moving out. Looks like he wants to go Ultra.
Yeah, from the
carapace is actually done already, and we're already working on +2. So, oh, nice counterattack here. Gonna be able to pick off a couple Goliaths here. And yeah, we're at the 7 Mutalist count. This is ideal. You can 3-shot the turrets. You can 1-shot the SCVs.
Nice move.
Able to pick off some Goliaths as well. So it looks like they're going TT1 here. Big attack here. Nexus is definitely going to be taken out. But there's no way for them to break.
No, he can hold that. No, TT1 can hold that ramp for days. I really like this maneuver from Kenzie. They spotted that Ultra was on the south part of the map, so Kenzie just very smartly just decided to do a full-on counter here towards Terran. He did a lot of damage. Ultra's down to 18 SCVs. I think he was at like 21, 22. So pretty good damage here from Kenzie, and this is going to allow for TT1 to continue to build his army, and Ultra's going to continue to have to make Goliaths, which means there's just that less of a factor of the mines on the map. So so really liking this spot, and TT1's actually going to try to plant down his Nexus. I think this is a really smart play because his army is so large, and at this point they kind of know from Bubbo's Ling count that he's not like fully committing to Lings. TT1 feels confident in being able to get a second base going here. So yeah, really liking this spot for TT1 and Kenzie. They're playing it pretty well.
It's like Kenzie tried to take 6 o'clock instead of his natural, but there was a vulture there that killed a drone. And basically for Zerg Protoss here, you're in no rush. You're getting +2 carapace. You have the Mutas advantage. TT1 has the army advantage. He just has very clunky units that are hard to reinforce and attack cross map. So they just have to survive here, and they're gonna end up in a fantastic position in the mid game. But we have a huge attack, a lot of Goliaths here, a lot of Lings as well. We have some mines to cut off reinforcements. Looks like they're not gonna commit. Looks like they're gonna go Kenzie, but Kenzie cancels.
Yeah, Kenzie's kind of he's got a Ling force at 9-ish o'clock. I think he's trying to go for a counter here, which is probably the play because they know that they're not hitting Kenzie, but they know that they have a sizable army on the map. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to push this. This is a lot of Protoss, and we all know Protoss is a very strong race. I don't see them getting much done against this nice arc that TT1 has, but we'll see. Nice counter here from Kenzie, very smart play. Having the confidence of his ally not dying in this spot. At the very least, he'll lose his natural, but he won't die. And but Ultra has his Goliaths in position to thwart that counter. It looks like TT1 will actually lose his natural, but that's not the end of the world. In this spot and on this map, he's going to be able to continue to mine it. Okay, Kenzie's coming to join forces here. They're going to decide to sandwich this army here.
Yeah, we actually have +2 for Kenzie. TT1's getting stuck on the ramp, though. Yeah, this is enough, I think, for them to clean this up. Kenzie has to be careful, but his Mutalists are so tanky here, they're just not going to die.
Yeah, I mentioned it on a different cast, but whenever Zerg gets +2 carapace, you kind of have like this different mentality with those mutas. Like +2 is just so strong; they almost seem invincible. So it's really allowing Kenzie to tank a lot of those shots and allow the goons to go to work. But yeah, Babo's got this ninja base at 12 o'clock. Kenzie's got his second base up at his natural, and they're on the map here. Looks like TT1 has a smaller army than I anticipated.
Yeah, TT1 did lose a lot, but again, the +2 is huge here. Looks like they're going to retreat to this high ground. Babo did expand. TT1 has 1-1. So he's expanding here. Ultra's the one that's been weak in economy. He was kept at a very low SCV count early game. And we do have 11 Mutalists for Babo, but again, they don't have upgrades. Good spotter Lings there for Kenzie all over the map.
Yeah, it's looking like the next attack is going to define the winner of this match. It's really playing like that because both teams are on the map, but they aren't engaging. They're staying on their side of the maps, obviously because it's closer to their reinforcement line. TT1 and Kenzie are kind of positioning everything towards that high position at 3 o'clock, wanting to engage there. That's their engagement point. But Ultra and Babo are kind of shifting around towards the center of the map because they obviously don't want to fight up the high ground. So here, if a fight does happen, it's going to be in a better spot for the ZT team. But we got 4 base versus 4 base, so we haven't seen that yet in this matchup. It's always been a little bit off kilter, but this is an even base versus even base situation. So we'll kind of see who wins that big battle that's just inevitably going to occur. I think the upgrades for Kenzie and TT1 is definitely an advantage point for them. Babo's going to have to continue to make Lings with his mutas. To be able to sort of act as meat shields for the Goliaths, because in large numbers Goliaths are not great against goons, but they are great against mutas. So Babo's going to have to continue to support here. A lot of units here from Ultra.
Yeah, hard to say who has the advantage. Definitely looks like Ultra has more Goliaths, but again, Goliaths don't do great against Dragoons. Looks like some of Kenzie's Mutalists get caught here. One instantly goes down. TT1 saying there's the DT. Something Ultra's been doing is he's been skipping Academy a lot of the time. Usually when he goes for timings, he'll get an Academy as well, but against TT1 Kenzie, he hasn't gotten that at all. Finally have the first tank. That's going to be putting some pressure on. There's the first DT. This is going to give them some breathing room here. TT1, in the meantime, he's been so poor. He hasn't been able to afford natural cannons, so at any moment, there could be a counterattack. But again, counterattacks, when both teams are out on the map like this, are a lot less likely to work. And with the DTs, we see TT1 putting on some pressure, moving across the map here. We have some mines. There's the Academy finally. This is a tense moment. Neither team wanting to engage. Looks like one done for Kenzie. That's huge.
Yeah. Kenzie's so smart. He's so smart. He knows that the Goliaths were further away from the main. Decides to poke in here.
Bubble can't engage here. Bubble can't engage. He has way worse upgrades. He can't engage alone. So he's gonna go for it. Ultra's not that far behind. Looks like Kenzie is forced to retreat there. He's getting a lot of value of his Mutalisk. You can see Ultras are basically not shooting. But actually, Bubble wins that pretty decisively there.
Now they're both on 2 gas. Counter here coming from Babo. Kenzie will be able to deal with this eventually, but at the cost of mining time at his main. Spire, if the Spire goes down, he won't be able to deal with it because he won't be able to continue to make mutas. But yeah, really nice time from Babo. I think his one-on-one sense is coming into play here. He kind of knows that, being that he had 2 gas going for a long time as well, at the very least he had a quantity advantage against Kenzie. But Kenzie's upgrades are just far too superior. He's going to be able to hold this off. TT1's having a one-on-one fight here against Ultra, and his upgrades are probably 2-1 at this point, I would say. So, yeah, so nice little skirmish here. Kenzie just so smart with his mutas, making Ultra pull back a little bit. I think TT1's going to go snipe Babo's Ninja expansion at 12 o'clock, which is huge.
Yeah, during that Muta skirmish, we actually had Lings at 12 that shut that down. The problem is, Babo has way more Mutalisks, and Kenzie hasn't been able to remake any because, of course, he lost his Spire. So even though he has the upgrade advantage, he has a huge deficit in terms of numbers. So we actually see Spores here from Kenzie, trying to give himself a way to recover here. The Spire is... Oh, looks like the cannons pick off 1 reinforcing mutas. This is something like 9 Mutalisks still alive in Kenzie's main. We have the mines being cleared up by Stray Zealots. And the thing is, TT1 has a huge army. He's going to be able to take a third, but Kenzie's been extremely weakened.
Yeah, and of course, Kenzie needs the goon support here. He does have 18 drones, so he will stabilize quickly with the 3 hatches that he has in production. But this is a huge blow because Babo was able to even force a cancel on that Spire. So even though Kenzie's got like 650 gas, he's not going to be able to make mutas anytime soon.
And the worst part is Ultra now doesn't really need Goliath for a very long time, so he can go into tank Vulture, and that'll better combat TT1's army.
Oh, for sure.
Here we have finally the mutas hitting TT1 as well. This is getting a little bit awkward for TT1 to deal with both armies. In the meantime, Kenzie can only make drones and lings. His Spire is only about halfway done. Babo's catching up on upgrades as well.
Now, Ultra's army is not huge. He's got a good number of tanks, but it's not huge. With the goons that TT1 has at Kenzie's base, I wonder if he's able to sandwich this. Maybe a couple of lings from Kenzie can help support a sandwich move out here. Now, Babo is reinforcing this line. But that is a paltry-sized army from Ultra. I do feel like as long as they're not allowing him to reinforce that ball, which looks like reinforce are coming down. Okay, so they're gonna go for an attack here.
Links get bled off. Looks like there's a sandwich. Archon's doing a lot to get close up on the tanks. But yeah, look at the tanks. It's just not in large enough numbers. The Goliaths get cleaned up. The Mutalisks are still alive, but they can't engage. Even Kenzie's Mutalisks here coming to support. And wow, that's a lot of Archons left over.
Yeah, I love that. I love that play from TT1. Deciding to use his gas to make the Archons, because the Archons are just so beefy and do well against Mutas. Really like that. Really like that decision to make that many Archons. You don't often see 4 Archons in a battle against mech like this, but the decision was a very good one. Now the Spire is done for Kenzie, so now his Muta production will be up. Those Mutas are well upgraded, so this is going to force, to your point, Ultra to kind of go back to making those Goliaths, which don't do as well against what TT1's composition is. So as long as TT1 can get his 3rd base up,
Kenzie should engage. Kenzie should engage. He's running. He should
fight that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He runs away. There's a lot of mines, but we do have finally Overlord speed. Ultra did take a 3rd, but slightly slower than TT1's. And again, look at TT1's upgrades, 3-1. The thing with mech, it's so hard to get further upgrades. You're basically stuck on 1-1. You can't get +2 until you get a science facility, and that's a big investment as well.
Right. Right.
Well, on 1 mineral patches, last mineral patch going down. Desperately gonna need this expansion to get up.
Oh man, this is tight. This is as tight as it gets. Looks like Ultra's got his 3rd base going up. SCV transfer there. But yeah, Babo really does not have much, and not to his own fault. I mean, he had the ninja base that was taken down. So now he's able to get his natural up. So kind of leveling out here. Both teams are macroing up. Kenzie's electing to go for his 3rd base. Kenzie
actually has an insane economy. 26 drones. Even after taking all that damage, he's been able. I mean, he was forced into making drones instead of Mutalisks, so it explains that. And actually, Ultra doesn't even have +1 armor. He's just 1 weapons upgrade compared to TT1, who's working on +2 armor, already has +3 weapons. His army is just going to be a lot more effective.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's much the Zerg Terran team can do here but to turtle up and just have eyes on the map to see where the Protoss and Zerg is going to go. But in this spot, if you allow the Zerg Protoss team to continue to get more bases, already with a upgrade advantage, it's just gonna snowball into a more that ball is gonna continue to grow, and it's gonna be that much harder for the Zerg Terran team to have to deal with it. I mean, Kenzie already has 18 mutas, very well upgraded, and obviously TT1, huge army starting to grow even more. As time continues to go, this is just looking that much more favorable for the Zerg Protoss team. Even a Dark Archon in there, that's a lot of spherical units that you don't often see in this matchup, but extremely potent against the Zerg Terran composition.
And this is going to be really painful because that Dark Archon will neutralize Babo's Mutalisks, and then there's just not enough Goliaths left over for Ultra. Ultra maybe has like 12 Goliaths. Kenzie's like at 2 control groups of Mutalisks with +2. Just another counterattack here. He does have to be careful not to get caught by Goliath Mutalisks, but just look at TT1's army compared to Ultra. It just looks a lot better when you're forced into Goliaths like this against mech, against Protoss. It's just not ideal. We do have +2 weapons done, and it looks like we're gonna have an engagement. Looks like tanks are somewhat on the low ground.
Oh,
there's the Maelstrom. Huge.
Maelstrom.
Dragoons coming. Archons at the back. Looks like the mech is actually doing a fantastic job. A lot of units to buffer at the front there. But we do have the Dragoons on the high ground here. We even have one Zealot on top of tanks, and that alone should be enough to clean us up. And behind this, Kenzie, I mean, all of his Mutalisks have been kept alive. There's just not enough Goliaths now after Bobble's Mutalisks have been cleaned up. And this should be an easy cleanup for Kenzie here. Although his Mutalisks were badly bruised. It's only 4 Goliaths, but with the tanks, the Goons can't really engage.
Yeah, that probably went as efficient as possible for the Zerg Terran team. It kind of looked like they were just going to get demolished after that Maelstrom, but to my surprise, the mech units did a lot better. And I think because Ultra just made so many tanks are very good against Goons, obviously. And if there aren't like 12 Zealots there to be able to just get straight on top of those tanks, they're gonna get their money's worth. Bobble's continuing to support here with Lings. Looks like TT1 is deciding to go for a counter here, which I love because Bobble I don't think has anything to defend himself at his natural. Yeah, this is a great counter here. This is going to effectively nullify Bobble from producing more units, and at the cost of just losing, Kenzie's third base, which is not as important as the Protoss bases at this stage of the game.
Now we have Kenzie with the perfect counterattack at Terran's mining base. Even gonna get this command center. Just has so many Mutalisks. Kenzie's third base is gonna get taken out, but he still has a natural mining. And like you said, the real threat here is the Protoss. Protoss can just keep expanding. TT1 taking his fourth base, and it's just gonna have more eco than Ultra.
Yeah, and you can argue Kenzie's got more eco than Ultra. GG.
There's the GG. Very close final match. Very close series. It went down to the wire. You can see the nerves from both teams in the middle there, where they were just patrolling across the map, neither really wanting to engage, neither wanting to commit for a counterattack. And it looked a little bit dicey there when Kenzie lost his main, lost his Spire, but he was able to recover from that. And what an impressive series overall.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just as high level as you'll get in this matchup. Both teams just showing what they're capable of doing, and to be able to see such high tech units in play that you don't often see in lower level games is certainly refreshing to see, like Dark Archons and Defilers and such. That was a really competitive match.
And that the last Zerg Terran team is out of the tournament, and TT1 Kenzie move on into the grand finals. Different format. If TT1 and Kenzie say they were to win now a best of 5 against Bonif and Ziki, we would have another best of 5, and that would determine the champion of the tournament. But if Ziki Bonif win their best of 5, that means they've already won the tournament, because TT1 and Kenzie have already lost once. And because it is a double elimination, that would effectively end the tournament. So that's the matches or match we have left. But before that, we're going to take a quick break just to get some water, rest our voices a little bit, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. This is going to be the finals coming up soon.
these guys are all very deserving to be here in the grand finals. And what's better than a good old-fashioned ZP versus ZP matchup? Probably one of the more fun mirror matchups to commentate.
Yeah, but before we jump in, please look at the donation goal. We're quite a way away from that, but whatever you can add to it will help. We really want to see another season of 2v2. If you guys haven't seen a lot of the 2v2 streamers on ShieldBattery, Jiraiya himself, I sometimes play as well. It's just very dynamic. When you have an active 2v2 scene, you experience a completely different ladder on ShieldBatteries. So we're aiming towards that. Please help out however you can. And yeah, those are my 2 cents. And ZP, I don't play ProLeague in 2v2, I play Terran, so whenever I watch ZP, it's just way too chaotic for me. There's just so much going on. Feels like the game is on knife's edge the entire time.
Yeah, it's a very much like ZT versus ZT. It's very tit for tat, a lot of micro battle situations. But yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot that goes on, and being that Bonnet is such a strong micro player along with his ally Suzuki, it'll be interesting to see how TT1 and Kenzie, who also have very strong micro, look to put together a game plan here against these types of opponents.
And without further ado, let's get these games started. First map is going to be Reverse Temple. Let's jump right into that final match. Let's go. Alright, in the 8 o'clock spawn, we have Bonif and his ally Ziki at the 12 o'clock. Which means at the 2 o'clock we have Kenzie, Zerg spawning near each other. And in the 7 o'clock we have TT1. So yeah, big advantage in terms of micro, I would say, for Bonif and Ziki. Ziki's Mutalists are a lot better than Kenzie's, but Kenzie's has very good Ling control and very good Ling maneuvering. But if it's a straight up air fight, I gotta favor Ziki there.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. It looks like Bonnet was communicating to Ziki to go ahead and make 9 pulls. So often when you see a 9 pull open, particularly in this matchup, you're gonna see mass as a follow-up, mass lings into 2-hatch follow-up. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. The reason for why I'm saying that is because 9 pull open it tends to play mass more than layer, and the reason for that is you're just going to have that many less drones to be able to make the sunkens that you're probably going to need against the enemy forces, but the 9 pull also allows for them to have the presence on the map, and like I said prior to this game starting, ZP and ZP mirror matchup is very much like ZT versus ZT. A lot of early kind of micro battles, and depending on which team has the advantage, there's a lot of different follow-ups that can happen here. So looks like Kenzie's going to like to 12 pull and make his second hatch quicker and delay his gas. And Suzuki is making Ling speed first, but he does keep a drone on the... No, he took the drone off the gas. So this is a mass build from Suzuki, and he's going to have that speed quicker than Kenzie. So it'll be interesting what they can get done with the early speed advantage from Bonnet to Suzuki.
Yeah, the first time these two teams play, Kenzie would often go 12 hatch, expecting overpull from Ziki, which worked out 3 of the 4 games. This time around, we're seeing 9 pull, and we actually have one of TT1 Zealots getting caught here. This is a little bit annoying. Only get 1 Ling there, and Bonif is out on the map. He's got to be careful, Kenzie. Zerling speed is about to be done.
Yeah, I wonder if on this map, Reverse Temple, being that the ramp is reversed, Bonnet is going to play Cannon here, but looks like with the gas that Bonnet is building, he's electing not to make the Cannon. TT1 is following this up with 3 gates, so he's going to make a lot of Zealots. He's got 2 out going towards Bonnet. Bonnet is just rallying units towards Kenzie to really commit to this contain. Bonnet spots the 2 Zealots. Let's see if the Lings are going to come. Wow. Suzuki sneaks 2 Lings into TT1's base. Gets 3 probes. That is huge. That is absolutely huge because often when you're going 3 gate, you're going to be cutting probes. So to kill 3 probes is going to force him to have to place that, which means that many less Zealots. Nice little probe glitch here. Gets a probe.
Yeah, TT1 doing counter damage. Already gotten 2 probes. But we're seeing actually no lair from Kenzie. He already took off gas. So I'm pretty sure Bonif. I mean, the thing about Bonif is his Reavers are so good and he loves going them. He just goes Reavers all the time, regardless of game state. And sometimes it backfires, but here, seems like a good opportunity to do so. We do have map control being taken here by Kenzie. He has a lot of Lings. Faster second hatch. He's able to eat Bonif's Zealots, and now he should have more than enough Lings to deal with Zeki's. And we have a 3 gate pumping from TT1 as well. They're gonna go Bonif or they're gonna go Zeki here is the question. Couple Dragoons out for Bonif. He has the faster tech. This is a little bit scary for the red team here. Only 1 sunken here for Zeki. This is a lot of Zealots and a lot of Lings behind where Bonif units. Looks like they're reinforcing now. Good concave from Zeki though. Zealots on top of the sunken. That gets taken out. Couple Dragoons. Oh, you're right, you're there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just kind of just watching the gameplay, forgetting that I'm even here to cast it. Really nice attack here, actually, from our TT1 and Kenzie team. I mean, with no contain at Kenzie and at 2 hatch production, he's going to continue to just be able to pummel units straight into Suzuki's base. And Bonnet with the Goon tech, it's just not going to be as effective in dealing with this. Now, they're going to have to regroup, Kenzie and TT1. But this is a pivotal stage of the game where there's layer tech up, but there's no Spire on the way. And with this map layout, they're going to be able to continue to just pummel units down here. Goons are in position, and I think Suzuki needs to keep just making Lings and just delay that Spire, because he's in danger at this time.
He's doing his best to micro, but you can see the Lings just coming from Kenzie, just streaming across the map. We have a couple Lings pop for Zeki. Drones are being utilized here, and like you said, layer tech is done, but you can't afford Spire tech, so there's no pressure whatsoever on Kenzie here, and he can just keep making Lings, and the pressure from the blue team is just a lot here. We did keep all the Dragoons alive. We finally have TT1 going into Dragoons himself.
Yeah, I am loving this spot for Kenzie and TT1. You know, they're really forcing the pressure here, and Suzuki, his drone count has been at 6. I think he lost 2 drones from the Lings earlier, so that really hurt him in being able to keep those larvas turning. And now they're going to be able to fight Bonnet's army just kind of together jointly. Suzuki is trying to support with those Lings, but the army count of Suzuki is just so low. He's got 6 drones, 6 Lings, and Kenzie is mining gas and presumably making layer as well. Yeah, so he's able to keep those larvas moving and tech up to layer, which I think is going to be even quicker than the already done layer from Suzuki because he's so behind. And TT1's economy is pumping here. He's got the goons going. So army-wise, TT1 and Kenzie look to be favored here.
And a little bit interesting, TT1 going into Dragoons as well, and Bonif doesn't actually know what TT1 is doing. If he was going Citadel, Archives, Bonnie now sees the first few Dragoons, and while Bonif has more Dragoons, he just can't fight 2v1. The Lings are able to get on top of his Dragoons. Ziki trying to help out in the back. You can see he has his own Lings, but too many Lings from Kenzie, although they are engaging now. It looks like an even trade. Bonif doing a really good job at keeping his Dragoons far away from the Lings here. You can just see Bonif's micro. He hasn't lost a single Dragoon here. He's going to be able to pick off TT1's Dragoons as they run away.
Yeah, this is just really strong control from Bonif, doing the hold position micro, continuing to take massive shots onto those goons, and that's just going to allow him to further compound his army count, being able to take away one and not lose any in return. But I think the real question here is, how far ahead is Kenzie compared to Suzuki? Because TT1 is in no danger of dying here, and there's already a Spire that's going to be done in shortly. So I think right now, the question is, what is Kenzie going to be able to do with his mutas, and will it be enough? Because clearly Bonif has the army advantage right now, but Suzuki can't make spores in this spot, so Bonif will likely have to either commit to like a single attack onto somebody or split his army to support his ally. But it looks like, yeah, Spire is being made. I don't know about that. I almost wish to see Suzuki just all in Lings here and just commit to killing Zerg. But Kenzie is going to have Sunkens, and mutas are already up. We'll see what they can get done here. This is it.
High ground. They're gonna go for Kenzie. TT1 is coming from behind. Dragoon's doing a really bad job at getting down the ramp as always, and you can see Kenzie with these Lings. He should be able to buffer, and of course you gotta worry as Bonif committing here with TT1 coming from the flank. He's able to get down the ramp, but how many Dragoons does he have left over now fighting from the low ground? TT1 getting on top of Bonif's Dragoons here, and you could just see Ziki in the meantime wasn't able to reinforce. Like you said, maybe he should have just committed to mass Ling there.
Yeah, really good job from Kenzie making this defense. I think he even cut some of the muta just to get those Sunkens in time, but in any case, that was a superior job from Kenzie, and now he's got mutas versus drones, which is never good for the drone. Spire is done, but
curious retreat here. Feel like he could have gotten at least a couple more drones there.
Yeah.
Bonif is teching to random 2 Dragoons there, but Bonif does have DT tech, and he is getting his own expansion up. Four-gate from Bonif, 4-gate from TT1, both players with +1. Looks like they're just gonna go full tilt on Ziki here. This makes perfect sense. Bonif just lost his entire army. We do have 2 DTs, but even if the DTs clean this army up, it just seems like it's way too much.
Yeah, especially with the Sunken not being in position. So these Protoss units are going to be able to just waltz down and do their work, and just work on just doing as much damage to Ziki as possible. These DTs will be able to get maximum damage here, but at the cost of Suzuki not mining. Spire is gonna probably go down. These drones are probably gonna go down, and it's looking like TT1 is taking a base of his own. I would imagine Kenzie's starting OB speed if he hasn't done already. This trade was quite good. A lot of army lost, but again, if you're able to nullify any player, oh wow, this is amazing. Look at this, Suzuki getting work done with the handful of mutas that he had. This is the micro that Seri was talking about earlier, where if you gave Suzuki even number of mutas against Kenzie, he's gonna win that 9 out of 10 times. And in that case, he was able to sneak out, while he was getting killed and do economic damage to Kenzie, who's now down to 2
Bonif shouldn't.
drones.
Yeah, but Bonif making a big mistake here, retreating. He should stay around and defend as long as possible. They know they got a lot of damage done on Kenzie. Kenzie's actually only on 3 drones, but he's evening that up. Ziggy was at 9, now he's down to 4. So big slip up there from Bonif, just retreating out of the main at the worst possible time.
Yeah. Wow, the Spore's gonna go down too.
And Dragoon's not great against Mutalisk, and well, I think this is just gonna be a 2v1 now. Looks like we have TT1 moving out, not ideal. He's gonna have to retreat. He might actually get busted here if Kenzie doesn't come help. Okay, we have the pro pull. 2 cannons to detect the DTs. So clutch hold from TT1 there. And Kenzie actually killed all but one of Zeki's drones.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right. I almost wonder how this game would go right this second had Bonnet sat as Suzuki until that Spore was up. Because you're right. I mean, after the damage that Suzuki did to Kenzie, to his drone line, it was 2 to 10. It was 2 drones to 10, and now Suzuki doesn't even have enough minerals to make a drone. So I wonder just how this game would have played out had Bonnet decided to play a little bit more poised and helped his ally there. But yeah, Kenzie is just a monster at these holds. Look at him with the sunkens and being able to defend this basically by himself. Huge turn of events.
Yeah, Bonnet's gonna have to pull back here. And now it's basically 2 versus 1. Bonnet does have an advantage, but the longer this game goes on, the smaller that advantage becomes. And then just the fact that he has to fight 2 players is going to make it a lot harder. So maybe there's one window here. It looks like we don't even have... We already have an observer, and TT1's army's massive. Kenzie just has to make sunkens, not die, keep this Mulus alive, and it's just very difficult here for Bonif. Unfortunate, really, just that move out with the Dragoons after... I mean, Zeke lost his 4 Mutalists, but he got all of the drones but 2. So absolutely massive damage, and they held the attack eventually at his base. But like, with 9 drones versus 2, even if he didn't have a Spire, he would have been able to come back. But as it stands now, it's Bonif alone against 2 players. Kenzie just macroing behind, TT1 keeping Bonif occupied. I hear Mutalisk harassing as well. Only 3, so not a big threat, but we do have Bonif now full tilt heading towards Kenzie's base. TT1 only on 4 gates. He did have a much later expansion, much later tech, and we do have Zealots here. Zealots will do a really good job at tanking the sunken fire.
Yeah, in this spot, Kenzie needs to cut gas. I think he's got 1 on gas, everything else on minerals, or maybe he does have on gas, but he needs to be making lings here. He has to think, okay, I just need to survive. If I survive, then we win. Bonnet ripping through the sunkens here. TT1 will be here to help him. 3 goons left against this Air Force. TT1 goons are coming down. Yeah, this is going to be enough to defend.
Watch out, Zealots targeting that Spire. Can't drill them. Already at 160 HP. It is going to be taken out. Kenzie keeps most of his drones alive. And now we have Bonif on 1 base economy. But he could take his natural, or I guess that mineral only right outside his natural, pretty soon. He did lose another army here. And TT1 is catching up on tech. Like, we have a Citadel now.
That pylon in front of Bonnet's base is pretty cute. I think Bonnet had a window of opportunity there, but you know, Kenzie was smart and he had enough sunkens to kind of buffer at this point, even though there's a 38 to 28 probe advantage between Bonnet and TT1, it's just going to be too hard at this point on just one base to be able to trade effectively against two players. So I think they did it. And this one really just came down to the wire. I think what you said before about the Bonnet and the Goons and helping the Muta was kind of the degree all-in moment.
We do have Ziggy still helping out with his detection, but yeah, like you said, even though Bonnet has this probe lead, it doesn't really matter when he only has 7 patches to mine from. Like, you could have 100 probes here, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we even have the Scourge diving on the last Overlord, and now Bonnet just doesn't have any detection.
Ouch. Yeah. That DT is going to go to work.
Alright, what does TT1 actually have back? He actually mined out his mineral patches, which is going to help Bonnet here. Waltz right in. The 1DT is doing a lot of damage. We have some Lings coming from Kenzie. Actually, not a lot of army from TT1. Looks like it was out on the map somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Coming back now. We are taking down a lot of probes, though, so he is doing work. But in the meantime, we have the 4 Mutalisks just targeting down that Nexus. And again, the DT is still alive. Gonna clean this up. Even if TT1 lost like 10 probes there, he'll just send them back mining. Zeke telling Bonnet to cancel next. Looks like he didn't. The Mutalisks do eventually take it out. And we have TT1. I forgot this map had island bases, right? This is just Lost Temple reversed with some changes. And we do have the islands at bottom right and top left, so TT1 gonna expand towards there.
Yeah, valiant effort from Bonnet. He's gonna have one more timing here. He's gonna expend all of his gas. He's making it the Observer, but I think at this point, it's gonna be real tough. He's gonna have to get at least 12 units and kill TT1. If he kills TT1, then he just 1-on-1 against Kenzie, who's been stricken on having to make sunkens and defenses. So the Observers are out. There are 2 DTs. So he's gonna have a small window of opportunity here to kill TT1, but I really like that idea of getting the island. If he does get to the point where he can take it, it might be a game changer. But we'll see. I mean, it looks like TT1 has an army force for himself. He's got 2 Archons against 1 Archon, a little less goons, and about the same in Zealot count. So should be able to defend this.
Both players with detection here. We have the 4 Mutalisks coming from behind. Lings did a lot to take the damage, and more Lings coming in. And there's the GG. Bonnet realizing can't finish either player off, and that's a victory for Kenzie and TT1, starting up 1-0. And it came down to that moment where Bonnet left Zeke's main. Otherwise, with Zeke even having some Lings to support, or maybe just being alive is annoying enough, definitely it would have been a completely different game. But as it stands, 1-0, Kenzie TT1, and very, very close game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, very tit for tat. It was a very tit for tat situation. It came down to the wire. I think if I were TT1 and Kenzie here, I'd be feeling real good about that and take that and use that confidence and keep it rolling, because in some of those early skirmishes, as we kind of anticipated, a lot of that micro situation where there's an edge on the part of Bonnet and Suzuki. But even with that edge, sometimes in 2 versus 2, decision making and experience can overcome some of those things. So look forward to see what Bonnet and Suzuki do in terms of adjustments. But yeah, Vegas is they lost a lot there. Because who would have thought that TT1 and Kenzie would just come out of the gate so strong? That was a very, very close game.
All right, and with that, we're ready to go into game number 2. It's going to be on Fighting Spirit.
All right, my favorite map.
All right, in the top right spawn, we have the color blue, Ziki, which means his ally. In the top left is Bonif in the color red. And in the bottom left, we have TT1, color blue, and in the bottom right, Kenzie. And Bonif saying Kenzie's gonna go 12 hatch, which is something he did a lot in their first series. He would just predict overpull, go 12 hatch, and end up in a pretty good spot in comparison to his other Zerg. So Ziki's gonna go 12 hatch here, predicting 12 hatch.
Yeah, I'd be curious if he does 11 hatch actually. I think when Suzuki opens 9 pull last game, Kenzie might decide to go 11 hatch versus the 12 hatch. You do get your pull down just slightly quicker, which means you get your lings out slightly quicker. But in any case, you know, these two teams have played a lot against each other, not just in this tournament, but also in ladders. So it's not a surprise to me that Bonith, you know, is kind of anticipating what Kenzie's doing. But yeah, 12 hatch versus 12 hatch. Okay, he is going to make the 12th drone, or at least his Ziki is. We'll see what Kenzie is doing. Yeah, so that's a 12 hatch.
I like, well, the thing with Fighting Spirit, if you're top right or bottom left, Zerg has the much better creep. You can see it's much closer to the ramp at top right than it is at bottom right. So, small advantage there. And, well, for Protoss, it doesn't matter. Tearing walls on Fighting Spirit are a little bit different. You gotta worry about it, but as Protoss, you pretty secure from your 2 gates. So, we have mirror builds all the way around.
Yeah, Suzuki's pull timing is a little bit more optimal. But yeah, this is pretty much a mirrored build order between the two Zergs. And, you know, not surprising to see 2 gate opens from the respective Protosses. This tends to play more of a kind of Ling and layer kind of concurrent from the 2 Zergs. So they're going to make the Lings, they're going to make the layer. It'll be interesting to see what the Protosses do in terms of tech. Often we see TT1 go Goons. Sometimes we see Goons with Corsairs from Bonith. So I'm curious to see what the Protosses are going to do, since the Zergs are pretty much lined up to kind of do the same thing, that Ling and Muta composition.
Yeah, sometimes you, unlikely because we have double 12 hatch, but sometimes you see one Zerg go for 1 hatch layer, and then a Protoss go Corsair to counteract that. But this time, we have both Zergs going layer right away, so no surprise with the 12 hatch. And we do have adjacent spawns, so it's very easy to support your ally here in the early game. We have a Sunken from Kenzie, but none from Ziki.
Yeah, I kind of like this spot for Kenzie here. He did go for the layer first. I think he did speed afterwards, whereas Suzuki did the speed first and then the layer. So Kenzie making that Sunken is going to be able to thwart any early attacks. TT1 did send him a Zealot for support, and TT1 himself has 2 Zealots at his ramp, so he should be okay against any early attacks to his ramp. So this is going to get to mid-game, but I would give Kenzie a slight edge in terms of build order because he didn't go for that speed first. Suzuki also is droning up as well, but Kenzie does have +1 drone, +2 drones now to Suzuki. So we'll kind of see if these shortcuts that Kenzie made prove out as we enter the mid game here.
Okay, bottom 5 Zealots at Kenzie. I'm not sure. Okay, he's gonna commit, and we have a lot of links flooding behind from Ziki. TT1 is playing very defensively, so this is very scary. We don't have a drone pull quite yet. We're gonna need it.
Pull.
Okay, only 2 drones. That's a lot of links flooding in. I don't think they expected this amount of links. And the Spire is definitely dead here, wherever it is. There it is. Sometimes you see the Spire right next to the Sunken, so exactly this doesn't happen. Spire is cancelled. Still a lot of lanes left over for Zeke.
Wow.
And I think Kenzie just over-droned there. And with TT1, I mean, they didn't have map control, so with 5 Zolots out from Bonnie, very scary moment. But we do eventually deal with it, but we lost so many drones there.
Yeah, and Suzuki made a round of drones behind this, so really smart play. Now, if I were Kenzie and TT1, I'd be kicking myself because of how many drones we made. We certainly had enough larva to make the lings needed to stuff that ramp. But I think just the timing, it just kind of threw them off. They didn't expect Bonnet to make 5 Zealots and just move them like an ape across the map. But really, they needed to get something done, being that we made the speed first. So I think that was just a nice maneuver from Bonnet and Suzuki that Kenzie and TT1 just didn't expect. So they're much further behind here. This OV pickoff is going to be huge. If you can get 2 OVs, I would say that effectively. Oh, mutas are out. Oh gosh. Yeah, if you can get that OV, that'd be big. All right.
The problem is the mutas are out and Kenzie Spire still isn't done. Some lings here counter-attacking Bonif. Could get some probe kills here, but the mutas are heading directly to Kenzie's base. One or actually already has DT. Yeah.
But the Robo's already done, so I think Bonnet is really reading it well. Suzuki going for the cannon here. He recognizes this is not Goon Tech, so he's going to make this effort. They have the army here. TT1's in trouble.
His DT's out across the map. It's not here to help out. And there's no GG, but there's a GG from Kenzie. And yeah, that was just a well-executed timing. Definitely could have been defended by Kenzie. Just under made lings. Definitely a little bit of a greedy play. You're already with the faster tech. And TT1 was also teching rapidly. So definitely a greedy play from TT1 Kenzie that cost him that game there.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's unfortunate. Because had Kenzie been able to stuff that ramp, he really would have been in a nice position to enter the mid game. And I think with the DT tech being made, it just would have paired nicely had they gotten to mid game without taking as much damage.
Yeah, a little bit late on the drone pull as well. And the other thing was sometimes, like, worst case scenario, you get broken. You have your Spire next to the Sunkens, right? That's a very common tactic in ZP, ZT as well, where you just make the Spire right next to the Sunkens, because the Sunkens aren't going to go down, but they could run by like Ziggy did. But then your Spire is all of a sudden protected. So just a lot of small details there that really hurt them. And small mistakes against Ziggy and Bond, the game just ends instantly, as we saw. Right, and we are ready to go into game number 3. We're tied 1-1. Let's go right ahead, jump into that game. All right, in the 1 o'clock spawn, we have the blue Protoss Bonif, his ally Zeke, all the way across the map in the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock spawn, which means at the very bottom we have TT1 and his ally Kenzie at the 2 o'clock spawn. So Bond is telling Zeke go 9 pull. This is not a 12 hatching map from Kenzie. Usually he goes over pull or 12 hatch. We'll see what he does this time around. Oh, and this is Python 1.6, right? You've noticed that, right, Jerome?
I didn't know the version of it, but it looked like it was a different version, and that the mineral patches at the 9 o'clock position are not a pain in the ass like the other version.
Yeah, they fixed. I like this a lot. I like when you get an old map, a classic map, and you make slight modifications to update it. It doesn't really change how the map plays, but it just makes things a little bit fairer,
Yeah.
and you can optimize your early games a little bit better. So I'll uh, definitely welcome sight to see some of these older maps get slight updates. And Python, a classic 2v2 map, good to see it in this version. And we're gonna see double gate from both players. And this was a 9 pull from Ziki. Kenzie, actually, what did Kenzie go for? Was it overpool? Well,
That's
actually,
a
it's
12
12
hatch.
hatch. Ooh, this could be a quick one.
Yeah, he's got to plant that pool. He's got to plant that pool. He's in trouble here. Boneth, being Boneth with his probe, probably delayed it at least once. Kenzie identifying what the situation is right now and elects to cancel his gas. He knows he needs to defend against this early skirmish. TT1 is going to liberally send his first Zealot somewhere because he needs to. His ally is in trouble at this spot, and I think Kenzie's gonna have to. Yeah, he's gonna make the creep colonies here. His only mindset right now is not to die because we do see a 9 pool versus 12 hatch at the ramp situation. So TT1 is gonna come help Kenzie. But that pool still isn't done, and the Lings are gonna be knocking on his footstep momentarily. So Sunken's gonna warp right away and see how many drones are gonna get pulled here.
Sunken's about 100 HP away from being killed. Lings get a little bit stuck. TT1 Zealot ended up in a really nice position. Most of the Lings actually get taken out. Very close hold. Sunken is eventually gonna be taken down, but no Lings left over. Only one Zealot and one probe from Bonif alive. Gonna get one probe and one drone, but eventually gets cleaned up without any further damage or... Wait, yeah.
Very nice.
So that was very nerve-wracking moment there for Kenzie, but the Zealot from TT1 ended up in a perfect spot. And he's able to hold here. Gonna get the second Sunken closer to the ramp. Fortunate for Kenzie that he was actually cross-spawned from Ziki, because any other spawns, those Lings would have gotten there a lot faster.
Yeah, Kenzie does elect to try to... He knew one of the Zealots were close to being dead, so he picks that one off, which I love. But the gas is not even completed yet. He's not going to have speed anytime soon. And unfortunately, that Sunken is not going to reach the very bottom of that ramp, so he will be contained, at least for now. Which is fine, I think, because he doesn't even have speed going yet. So for now, he's going to be contained. TT1 is massing up as well. Cyber Core is getting done for Boneth. Gas is just done for TT1. So Bonnet does have the tech edge. Taziki electing for a third hash. So this will be straight up mass, which I think I like because you know, you got to think, okay, TT1's gonna have a lot of Zealots right now, and Kenzie's not gonna be contained forever. So I think to match that, Suzuki's electing to go the 3-hatch mass is probably the right play. So we'll kind of see. So Kenzie's gonna get this sunken down. TT1 sending units to Kenzie, so no counter situation here. This is a I'm gonna come help you. Let's break out together and then let's go kill somebody kind of mindset. Nice trade here from TT1 against the Lings. This is gonna be helpful for when Kenzie breaks out.
Yeah, there's Kenzie moving out. Now he has a lot more Lings. TT1 finally sending... Nope, looks like Zealot's still on the ramp. He doesn't want to deal with the counter here. We have the first Dragoons out, but again, the Dragoons is not great spot for Dragoons. When you get overrun in the melee like this, the Dragoons struggle to get anything done. You need something to buffer for them at the front. And there's Link speed done for Kenzie.
Nice pick off on that goon. Every goon that gets lost is huge, and I think Suzuki's third hatch is not done yet, so that third hatch advantage is not going to kick in anytime soon. And I'm really liking this position for TT1 and Kenzie. They definitely have the army quantity advantage. More Lings are flooding in, more Zealots are flooding in, goons are being made from TT1 as well, so they're putting full tilt pressure towards Suzuki, who is mass. So at the very least, they're going to be able to contain Suzuki, but I wonder if they're going for the killer move here.
And I don't think Ziki's making a second. I think he's with the 3-hatch production. He can hold. Dragoons on the low ground, getting some pot shots. This is a lot of lings from Kenzie, not engaging. Maybe, okay, looks like he's going to loop around and trying to make sure Bonif can't reinforce his position. Ramp hasn't been broken quite yet. Looks like a 4th gate going down for Bonif.
Yeah, this is tight. I think I almost wonder if it's better not to attack here, but they're gonna decide to attack here with overwhelming force. A sunken is done in Suzuki's base, but that's pretty much it. There's 5 lings, 6 lings being made here, 3 goons, and 1 sunken. Bonif is going across the map. It looks like Bonif is gonna go for a counter. Suzuki might be able to hold by the skin of his teeth. No, he's gonna lose his sunken. He's got no more money, so this is gonna be tight. 2 goons are left. Suzuki might be able to hold, and TT1 sees the counter coming from Bonif. He makes a cannon here as well.
Oh, Bonif is gonna get up the ramp, but Kenzie is right behind. With 3-gate production and these links, I don't think TT1's under threat to die here.
I don't know, Seri. I don't know, Seri. Those 2 Zealots are MVP, and okay, those goons are being made to... Okay, alright. Yeah. Yeah, this force is gonna get cleaned up.
Yeah. There, the Dragoons die for Bonif. Gonna kill this Overlord from Ziki. And Ziki has 5 drones, but they're all the way across the map. He still has Dragoons in his main. And this is why I don't like 3-hatch, basically, ever. Especially the way Ziki played it, where he has all his hatches next to each other. You want the ramp. You want to control the ramp. Your 3rd hatch provides more production, sure, but he couldn't afford it. He was only on 8 drones. You need at least 9, and that means you can't do anything else. You can't mine gas. You can't make creeps. So the 3rd hatch, even though it gives you that uptick in production, it hardly ever pays off when you're this low eco, and unfortunate there. That's 2-1 advantage for TT1 and Kenzie. Really took control of that game basically once they held the 9 pool, and the plan from Ziki just was never clear to me.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think the pivotal spot in that last game there was when TT1 sent 6 Zealots to Kenzie, or towards Kenzie, and Suzuki decided to trade in that spot, and he had around like 8 to maybe 9 lings, kind of keeping an eye on those Zealots heading towards Kenzie. But then he traded and left out from that attack with just 2 lings, and none of TT1 Zealots died. So when Kenzie has that timing of breaking out, you got to think, okay, Kenzie's gonna have more than me. So I almost question that decision of deciding to engage there from TT1. I understand he was trying to delay that army from joining, but at that point, Bonif was transitioning into goons, which can do well against Zealots and Zerglings, but you really need the Ling support. So I think that was kind of the pivotal moment where Suzuki's Ling count was just low and his 3rd hatch wasn't kicked in. But yeah, like we know that Bonif and Suzuki have the micro advantage. That is, 100% a factual thing. But I almost feel like Kenzie and TT1's sort of game plan in all these games is, okay, you guys can micro better than us, but we're gonna make a lot of units. We're gonna make a lot of units, and we're gonna decide on what we do with those units. And I think this last game and game 1, were they demonstrated that, where they made firm decisions and really just executed well with the quantity of units that they made.
Yeah, and gotta mention the 12 hatch was a clutch hold that could have ended right away. He could have taken catastrophic damage there. But so far,
that hold was huge hold.
So far, the lines have been drawn. We're seeing a lot of different strategies from the teams, and gotta mention, if TT1 and Kenzie win this next game or the game after, they will win the best of 5, but because they're coming from the losers bracket, they have to win twice. They have to win 2 best of 5. So despite being up 2-1, they not only have to win another game, but an entire other best of 5. Meanwhile, Bonif and Ziki, they have this best of 5. If they were to lose this, they still have another shot at winning the tournament if they were to win the next best of 5. So that's how we stand basically at this moment. And looks like we are ready to go into game number 4. Let's jump right into that, guys.
Just gifted 1 subs.
All right, in the top left, we have Ziki. The map is Vermeer. Bottom left, we have Bonif. Which means bottom right, we have Kenzie. And top right, we have TT1. So are we going to see another 12 hatch from Kenzie? This is a good map for it. Got good spawns. He's adjacent to his ally and across from Zerg.
Yeah, Kenzie, he doesn't have the larva. I mean, not the larva, the creep advantage that he would have if he were like bottom left or top right. So it's not like the best position, but still, I think the size of this map allows for him to do his thing. I think the critical moment in that 12 hatch hold last game was the fact that Kenzie canceled his gas. Because if you cancel your gas, you're just focused on making minerals and you're focused on making links. And I think that directive of, okay, I just need to live right now just so we can get to mid game, worked out very well for him. Obviously, TT1's Zealot that helped was huge there too. So let's see what Kenzie does. It looks like he's going to go for that 12 hatch open, and Suzuki might be looking to match that as well. So so very similar to the game 2 matchup where both players went 12 hatch. We'll see if Suzuki elects to go for the link speed first like he did that game, and if that's the case, are they going to decide to do an attack? And is Kenzie going to go later first like he did in game 2, but is he going to cut on the drone and secure his ramp more? A lot of kind of, you know, adjustments that could be made, but we'll see kind of who makes the better adjustments.
Yeah, I gotta add one more thing. Bonif and Ziki, Ziki in particular, has more experience 1v1 than 2v2. So a lot of times he'll make small mistakes. Like, I'm pretty sure last game he should have made second hatch at the ramp. And that's something Bonif has needed to remind him a couple times. In previous best of 5s, he's always telling Ziki, second hatch ramp. Ziki kind of plays like a 1v1 in ZVZ, where you would want a second hatch next to the first, so you need less defense. But in 2v2, it's very critical to hold the ramp. It just gives you a huge advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. The only thing I would say is in ZP versus ZP in particular, you see the second hatch more in base than on ramp. And the reason for that is, had TT1 sent the 6 or 7 Zealots to Suzuki versus helping Kenzie, that second hatch at the ramp would not have sunken in time to deal with it the way that you would want to. But in any case, you know, we got a Bonnet Zealot and a Bonnet Probe in Kenzie's main. That's never something that you want, because like we're seeing it right now, that Zealot and that Probe is going to go to work. Drone already down. See if he gets the second one. If he gets the second one, that would be huge. Already losing one drone in this spot is huge. More Zealots filtering into Kenzie's base. This is problematic, and definitely in favor of Bonnet's style, because his Zealot micro is insane.
Yeah, we actually have Ziki coming across the map as well. And that Zealot still hasn't died. It already killed 4 Lings.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we finally did kill one of the Zealots, but now we have Ziki's Lings coming.
Yeah, this is GG. I mean, look at that Zealot going to work. That Probe is getting kills too. 1 kill on that Probe.
Oh, and like game number 2, where we had mirror builds, we just have a quick attack on Kenzie and not able to hold, just takes too much damage. CT1, meanwhile, is all the way across the map, but he's not able to break on his own, either player, and just like that, we're tied 2-2.
You never want to get Bonneth angry. That is what Bonneth will do as a reaction to losing in the way that they did in Game 3. I feel like Bonneth was just very focused on getting Zealots out. That could have been 9-10 because that second and third Zealot timing was super fast. Always something to watch out for when you're playing against Bonneth.
Oh, that was a quick game, but we are ready for game number 5. And this is the tournament match, potentially. Could be the last match of the tournament. TT1 and Kenzie lose. They're fighting for the tournament life here. Let's see what they can do in game number 5. Alright. Map is Gemlong, and in the top left, we have Kenzie. Top right, we have TT1. Which means bottom right, we have Bonneth, and bottom left, we have Ziki. So, not really sure what TT1 was up to last game, just didn't help at all. And the game ended. Sometimes that happens. But, I mean, that one probe once Ella did so much damage, got one drone, 4 lings, and it just snowballs from there.
Yeah, I mean, Kenzie did go layer first, so that 150 minerals that you need to make the layer does take away from immediately making lings, even on a 12 hatch open. But yeah, that micro from Bonneth, especially against those first 4 Zerglings, I think he killed all 4 Zerglings with the probe and that first Zealot intact. And when that happens, especially just like in 1v1, if that happens, you know, everything kind of just snowballs. So kind of caught Kenzie off guard there, and something to just watch out for, I think, every single game you're against Bonneth. He's just too strong in micro. It's better to just focus your attention on just sniping the probe and securing your ramp ASAP, because it's not up to TT1 there to come help his ally. In that spot when you're 12 hatching, you know, it's most important to just defend. TT1 could help, but more often than not, he's going to want to play the counter. What do we have going on here, Sari? We got a 9 pull from Kenzie, and we got a 12 hatch from Suzuki. So kind of the opposite of what we saw in the other game, where Kenzie was able to hold with the 12 hatch, and TT1 is sending his probe down to Suzuki right now. So they're gonna see this, and I would imagine Bonneth is gonna similarly send his first Zealot to Suzuki. And TT1 and Kenzie are just gonna full tilt here. TT1 trying to block any creeps being made. So I really like that play. And yeah, everything is pointing towards going to Suzuki here. He is making the gas. So that's the difference between what Kenzie did to what Suzuki is doing here. We'll see if he can get any damage done. At the very least, try to get the second hatch to be canceled. Pulling the drones, that's interesting.
And no creep. TT1 did a really good job with this probe there. We have Bonneth's probe and Zealot arriving here. TT1's Zealot just slightly behind. We get a quick pick off there. Lynx get a drone there. Zealot doing a lot to buy time here. And then we have the first big fight. Wow, the drone's doing a lot of damage to the Zerglings there. Bonneth's Zealot gets taken out. But even Zergling numbers here, and slight victory there.
Yeah, this
we
is
don't
gonna
have
roll.
speed. We still don't have the creep. It seems like going gas instead of the creep is the big difference here. We have a 2 versus 2 on the ramp, but Kenzie can go support that. This is a very tense moment here for Ziki. Can he actually provide value with his slow lings compared to Kenzie's speed lings?
Good micro from Kenzie and TT1, picking off the Zealots. Nothing but Zerglings here, slow Zerglings.
Oh man, and they're getting into the middle line. We have a lot of links pop, but they're slow links. Zerlings are going down. We still have the 2 Zealots from TT1 alive. 2 Zealots coming in from Bonif here. Ziki down to 6 drones. Looks like Kenzie still has some speed links, but again, look at the drone count for Ziki just going down. TT1 just targeting those drones, ignoring the Zealots and Lings.
Excellent pickoff from TT1. Really good target firing there.
Oh man, Ziki can't afford anything.
Suzuki's dead. He's got nothing. TT1 launching a counter here with Zealots. Bonif is sort of in position with his Zealots, planting a shield battery here. Nice angle here from TT1. 2-to-1 is always good. Picks off the weak one.
Shield battery still not done. It's 2 versus 2, but there's one very weak one. Well, the key here is Kenzie is coming in from behind. We have slow links from Ziki all the way across the map. We even have a Dragoon here from TT1. He went for the faster gas. And with the shield battery done, that's good. Bonif is holding on, but we have Zerglings in the middle line here. We have a Citadel. Looks like Bonif realizing his only option was to kill TT1, maybe if he lacked detection. And again, Ziki just doesn't have anything. We have 2 links from Ziki going across the map. Maybe that's 3 or 4 links. Not really sure.
He's got 4, and he's got speed, but it's not going to be enough. Yeah, once the goons are able to get up here. Yeah, and Kenzie's just wreaking havoc in the mineral line here. That will be the last 2 units from Suzuki, so Suzuki is effectively out of this game, minus the Overlords. Yeah.
Wow, so they've done it. They've done it. We have TT1 and Kenzie. They win the first best of 5. So that means we're going to move on to another best of 5, right? Because Ziki and Bonif haven't lost until now, with double elimination being the format. So, I mean, they took it. They took the first series, a very impressive play. We had some short games, as you can often see in ZP. Just like, if you get a slight advantage in the early game, it'll just snowball like we saw. And, I mean, Ziki definitely, in his defense, made different choices than Kenzie did, right? Like, he went gas, he never made the creep. TT1 did a good job at denying that. So, we had a quick game number 5.
Yeah. It's almost I would say the difference between Kenzie and Suzuki in the spots that they were, where it was 12 hatch versus 9 pull. I almost feel like Suzuki was a little bit overconfident there, pulling the drones. He still continued to mine gas, and as soon as he hit 100 gas, he made the speed. But what happens is when you make the speed, in addition to spending those 3 drones mining gas, you're going to have less minerals. And when you have less minerals, you're going to have larvae that are not eggs. And in that spot, you have to think, I need to live. Because there's just so many Zealots that Bonif is going to have, which TT1 is going to match. So you got to almost think, okay, I just need to live. So I really, in that sort of comparison between where they were in those spots, I much prefer what Kenzie did, which was not mine the gas, just focus on living, and then because you have your second hatch at your ramp, you're going to be able to make a sunken and break out. You're not going to be contained forever, and you're going to have the drones and the minerals and the economy to keep your eggs and your larvae spinning. So I think that's the biggest difference, and I almost wonder if Suzuki has been in enough spots where he needed to do that, because obviously he's a very smart player, very his control is very strong. So I almost feel like he was just a little bit overconfident in that spot.
Yeah, we had Kenzie playing a little bit against type, because usually Kenzie goes for 12 match, so Ziki was looking to match that.
Yep.
And instead, Kenzie went for the 9th pull, predicting the 12 match and trying to get some damage done early, and it worked out for TT1 Kenzie's son. Just playing the mind games there on the final match of the tournament. So
yeah, this is super exciting. Yeah, this is super exciting. Really, really close. Really, really competitive games. This is what I expected. And the worst thing we would want to see is like a quick 3-0. So I know the viewers are definitely happy with it being as competitive as it is, and for it to force a second best of 5 between these two in the grand finals. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. Yep. And before we go into the final match, we're gonna take another quick break. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back. We have one match left to determine the victor of 2v2 Pro League in BSL. And it's going to be the same guys. We have TT1 Kenzie and Bonifin Ziki. TT1 Kenzie managing to finally defeat TT1 Bonifin Ziki. And I think this is the first time they've ever lost a best of 5 or a best of series in either tournament. Earlier this year, it was the TQ tournament where they went up against Koreans in the final, so I'm not counting that matchup. But other than that, they just seem to have been undefeated, even though people have been able to get them to 2 games. But as it stands, TT1 Kenzie showing they're up to par. They're definitely on level.
Yeah, no, they definitely deserve to be here. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think Scan and his ally Zealot is the only other team to ever take a best of 5 from Bonith and Suzuki. So the fact that Kenzie and TT1 were able to do it just proves to show that they can ride with the top dogs as well. So definitely deserving of it, and we'll see kind of how that momentum continues to build upon this next fresh best of 5 series that we have between these two teams.
And we're ready to start. It's going to be reverse tempo for game number 1, and let's go into the final match of BSL 2v2 Pro League. All right, in the 8 o'clock spawn, in the color red, we have Bonith. His ally Ziki here in the 12 o'clock, also in the color red. Mid right, we have TT1. And in the 7 o'clock spawn, we have Kenzie. So Bonif got the same spawn, Ziki got the same spawn, but we have Kenzie and TT1 flipping sides. So it should affect things in the early game a little bit. Last time Ziki went for 9 pull on this map, and I think Kenzie went for 12 pull. This time Kenzie's saying boldly, I'm gonna go 12 hatch. And he is actually like, he can already confirm that Zerg is not near him with his Overlord. That's one of the benefits of this map. So he knows Ziki's cross.
Yeah. We'll see if this open from Kenzie pans out for him. On reverse temple, it's quite a bit of a way for the 9 pool Lings from Suzuki to work their way down to Kenzie. I almost wonder if 11 hatch is a more optimal play, but we'll kind of see. I mean, it's gonna take a long time for those Lings to get there. This Bonith probe is going to delay the pull at least once. I mean, that just comes with the territory when it comes to a Bonith probe. He's got the money, but he can't make the pull. He's gonna make it with the one on the bottom. Okay.
A little bit annoying. It got delayed a couple seconds, and he also had to lose the 8 minerals.
Yeah.
That probe had. But here we go. Here's the 9 pull. Not getting gas. And TT1 sees it, so he's gonna send out his first Zealot directly to Kenzie. Bonif is as well. And man, look at how close the ramp is to Kenzie's like, first hatch has the creep to get all the way to the ramp.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to do this type of open if you're Kenzie, but you need to be able to not lose drones in this spot. So he's gonna have 3 drones out just to kind of delay these Lings. He's already lost 2. Oh, that's huge. Okay, these drones are going to work. That Zealot goes down very quick. Lings are out for Kenzie. He's going to have a 2-ling advantage, but there's a Zealot here as well. More is being spawned. Favorable for Suzuki here. He's going to come out with 3. Kenzie's going to have 1. If he can pick off another drone here, that's going to be massive. Nice drone drill from Kenzie, but the drone will go down. So that's 3 drones going down, and we have not even planted a gas. So unlike the other game, this was certainly not as good of a hold. More Zealots being flooded in here from Boneth. TT1 is containing Suzuki, so Suzuki won't be able to reinforce this spot. Kenzie's going to have to break this because he really needs that sunken to get up. I think the downside of this forward sunken spot is the fact that the enemies can hit it sooner because it's closer to the ramp. This sunken is dangerously low, but not able to get picking off here, which is very good.
We have the drone pull from Ziggy trying to bug out these ults on the ramp. But TT1, very good control there. Again, the sunken is 1 hit away. Bonif just needs to get up and punch it once, and that'll be taken out. But there we go. It gets Zealots get dealt with here pretty easily. Oh, he's gonna go for it.
He's gonna go for the sunken.
There it is. Can he get one more drone? That's really all he's looking for here. Oh, that was so close. Bonif, I know he's hunting for it, he's sharking for it. There, he gets trapped. Yeah, but soon the floodgates are going to open, and Kenzie... I mean, another thing I worry about is the sunken is so far close to the ramp, and it's low ground. Bonif is going Dragoons. That could mean the Dragoons can just walk up and snipe it. So yeah, Kenzie has to be a little bit careful here.
Yeah. I really like this positioning from TT1. Now, if Suzuki's able to sneak out any amount of lings, that would be very good, just to kind of keep TT1 and Kenzie in check. Kenzie really needs to punch speed here, because goons are already out, and TT1 cannot hold Suzuki forever. Meaning, if Boneth gets a critical number of goons and Zealots, he will be able to help Suzuki break, and once Suzuki does break, it's going to be much harder to kind of deal with that goon, Zealot, and Zergling composition. So this is looking like a mass game for sure. TT1 deciding to push down the ramp. I don't know about this decision. I think they're kind of panicking a little bit because they know that Kenzie is so delayed in gas, which means he's going to be so delayed on speed. TT1 might feel like it's just inevitable for Bonnet to come over in this position to help Suzuki break, so he might decide to just want to trade, but you never want to trade down the ramp against Sunkens like that. So yeah, I mean, there's so much army here for Bonnet and Suzuki. That's a ton of army and a ton of Zealots, frankly, that were lost there for not the best exchange. And I don't know what they could have done different. Maybe they could have pulled back, probably not. So I can kind of understand why TT1 made that decision. Goons are out. There's 2 Zealots on the ramp, so they're going to be able to hold at least for now. But that's a lot of red units being flooded, and Kenzie's Lings are just now getting speed. So if we look at the food situation, Kenzie and Suzuki are pretty neck and neck, but Suzuki has probably the army advantage, being that he's down a drone. But yeah, that's a lot of Bonnet. That's a lot of Bonnet going down the ramp here.
Yeah, and TT1 doesn't have range. Ziki doing a really good job at cutting off Kenzie. Looks like he wins that. He ends up with 4 more Lings there. And again, the lack of range really hurting TT1 here. Plus the fact that he is actually working down the ramp.
Yeah, this type of game style is definitely going to play in the advantage of Bonnet and Suzuki. This sort of, you know, early skirmish, micro-intensive fights. You know, this is the type of style that they're looking for. And being that they're both one-on-one players, I mean, this is very much a one-on-one situation where Protoss is against Protoss and Zerg is against Zerg. And Suzuki is doing a really good job of sort of cutting Kenzie from helping and Look at that concave from Suzuki. Just great positioning from Suzuki. There's not much Kenzie can do from here. They're 2-hatch against 2-hatch, so it's just going to come down to control. Boneth is securing the top of the ramp from TT1, so TT1 can't come out, and the other half of his army is going to reinforce Suzuki and put pressure on Kenzie. So TT1's going to try to break out here. Nice catch from Suzuki. This is 8 lings that were taken out for free. That's a huge blow, and Boneth is securing that ramp position from TT1, trading very effectively from the high ground and rejoining his army here in full capacity. It's gonna take a lot for TT1 to be able to break this now that Boneth has an entire army here. Good decision from Boneth, not reinforcing Suzuki, seeing that Suzuki, handedly won the Ling versus Ling. So for him to commit to containing TT1, it's a nice move, and the Spire is much quicker for Suzuki here. So yeah, very nice spot here for Boneth and Suzuki.
Yeah, look how much gas Suzuki has. He already spent on 3 Meterless, and he still has 600 gas. The Spire is much faster, and he's actually still, they're still keeping the TT1 and Kenzie apart. They can't unite armies here.
Yep.
TT1 with the 4-gate, but he can't even get out of his ramp because of the fact that his main's on low ground is making it even harder. The first Mutalist are about to pop here, and Kenzie, even if he has the Mutalist in time, he's working with a lot less gas. Ziki still has, they have the same gas count, and we have 4 more Mutalists for Ziki, something like that.
Yeah, this is not looking good for TT1 and Kenzie. I mean, Boneth is really filling himself here. He's got observers, he's got a Nexus underway, he's got the supply lead, he's got the army position on TT1. I mean, on this map, if you can get the top of that ramp like he does on TT1, it's like, good luck trying to break out.
Yeah, and here's the micro. Ziki basically doesn't ever take damage. Discouraged. TT1 desperately trying to break out. He's still contained. And even if he does kill Boneth, there's some Boneth Zealots or some links from Ziki there to support. And it's 6 Mutalists now versus just 1. We have Scourge, but again, Ziki, these Scourge have no hope of connecting.
Yeah.
There's the GG. Basically, the 9-foot just did too much damage. Kenzie was way behind. He couldn't get speed out in time. And even though they did a really good job at keeping Ziki in his base, they kind of panicked. They were in a tough position, and they had all these tier 1 units, but Boneth was already messing up Dragoons, and TT1 didn't really know what to do. Try to go into Ziki's base. 2 Sunkens were there, and that was just not the correct play.
Yeah, super good response from our Boneth and Suzuki team for them to come out of this of the last series and have that kind of showing in game 1 of this next best of 5 series. Just really impressive, and I think it just played more into their strengths, right? I mean, they want to get into those early skirmishes and fight, evenly matched units and just micro it out. That's definitely their strengths, and for them to be able to do what they did the way that they did it, I mean, that's just the recipe for how they're going to win.
That was very dominant, but we are ready to move on to game number 2. Let's see what TT1 and Kenzie can pull out now, and it's gonna be on Python, so let's go right into that game. Right, in the 1 o'clock spawn, we have Kenzie. And in the 2 o'clock, we have his ally TT1. 7 o'clock spawn, we have Ziki. And in the 8 o'clock, we have Bonif. So we have coal spawns this time on Python, close via air. So this kind of changes things up. Kenzie went for 12 pool, or actually 12 hands the last time against a 9 pool. Did a really good job at holding that. And we'll see what he does now. We've seen basically all the openers. We've seen overpool, 12 pool, 12 hatch, and 9 pool as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Kenzie's position here at 12 o'clock. It's better than the 3 o'clock position he had where he did need to hold. It looks like Suzuki is making an Overlord, so it won't be exactly that 9 hatch versus 12 hatch, so we'll see kind of what they open with. But yeah, this is a classic kind of left versus right on Python. What happens usually in this type of situation is where there's a lot of fights that happen in the middle of the map. So I think depending on where they decide to engage, typically you want to engage closer to your spawns because the reinforcement line is shorter. So you tend to see more fights just kind of happen in the middle, versus some other maps and other positionings where you see a lot of counter plays or fights to try to contain the Zergs, that kind of thing. So we'll see how this one shakes out. I'd like to see Muta. I'd like to see a one-hatch Muta style this game. We haven't seen it yet, I don't think. We've seen a lot of just sort of two-hatch mass opens. So I wonder in the left versus right matchup, Suzuki will elect to go one-hatch layer here. But it looks like he's trying to make the second hatch, so never mind.
All right, and we had a $13 donation there from Manu MMM. Thank you for that. Every little bit helps. And yeah, this is going to be overpool against 12 hatch. So this is something we saw a lot of in the first series, the one before today. Kenzie just going 12 hatch and Ziggy going overpool. And here we have the bro from Bonnet being very annoying. He delayed the hatch. Now he's harassing a pro. Already got it to half health, but with the Lings out, he should be forced to retreat here. It's kind of cute. He's kind of hiding that Zealot, not sending it directly in.
Right.
P1 Zealots in the meantime going to Zeki's base, and
well, the first Zealot is at Bonnet, so it looks like Suzuki his attention is going to help Bonnet against this Zealot. Probe does go down. Nice pickoff from TT1. TT1 deciding to pull back the two Zealots that were heading towards Suzuki, but now moving forward again. I mean, there's 3 Zealots kind of in the middle naked from Bonnet. I think Kenzie saw that and decided to pull back. Suzuki does have feed Ling, I believe, so that's gonna force Kenzie to kind of sit, and now he's gonna TT1 is sending Zealots to Suzuki, which Suzuki is pulling back to have to deal with himself. So interesting kind of dynamic here. Kenzie is electing to go player. Nice trade here from TT1. Picks up a couple of Lings. But Suzuki is free now. He's free to roam. He's got the Ling speed. Bonnet has a lot of Zealots, so I wonder if this is something that... Okay, so TT1 has Zealots on his ramp. He's going to be able to deal with anything that comes. It's very hard to break that Zealot wall. And with Kenzie having a sunken, I wonder if they're going to decide to push up this ramp, kind of like they did in the in game 2, I believe, of the last series. Because that's a lot of Zealots that were made, and Kenzie made the Spire right away. So he's got 20 minerals right now, not a ton of drones mining. It's gonna be harder for him to make the units that he needs to stuff his ramp. Meanwhile, Suzuki droned up, so he's got 13 drones versus Kenzie's 12 drones. Slightly slower Spire and 100 less gas because he did spend it for speed. Army-wise, Bonnet and Suzuki have a little bit more, but Kenzie has the tech, and he's joining up himself. and he's got more gas banked up. So we'll kind of see how this all develops. Bonnet electing to go Goons, and TT1's going to match that as well. He's got the +1 going too. So, yeah, I would say it's pretty even right now. And you know, in an even scenario, if you're going to go air against Suzuki's air, I'm going to give the edge to Suzuki with that crazy Muta micro. So, so we'll kind of see how this all plays out.
Well, picking off one Overlord there, pretty annoying, just as Spire's about to fit. We had another donation, this time from Braino Jack with a $15 tip. So again, guys, thank you. Every little bit helps. We're climbing slowly but surely. And there we have the third gate from TT1. And so Ziki doesn't have to make links. I guess Bonif sent him some units to put at the ramp. First Mutalist out for Kenzie. He has a slightly faster fire, but not so fast that he can go all the way across the map and harass. He's looking for that Overlord. Ziki already sent it to top left. So a really good job at hiding that.
Yeah.
Proc count, work count's about even. I guess TT1 has like 2 less Dragoons, something like that. But otherwise, it's pretty even. So about as even as it gets. We have a 4th gate from Bonif, no +1. That's a little bit interesting. I'm not really sure how the dynamic works in +1 versus non-+1 between Dragoons. And second Overlord gonna get taken out here for Kenzie.
Yeah, that's pretty big, especially because Kenzie's been really trying to spend all of his gas. So he's gonna get unsupply block here, which is good. Still got 200 gas behind. So I would say the Muta counts are probably pretty even at this point. I mean, 2 OVs going down is quite large. Suzuki didn't lose any Overlords. So it looks like there's a attack here, mounting here for both teams. And TT1 has the angle. There's no link speed for Kenzie, but he does have links here. They're deciding to fight closer to Suzuki, which I don't know if that's their best play. Bonnet has a lot of Zealots. Look at that. A lot of Zealots, more Dragoons. There might be more Muta, but you know, that's an overwhelming force from Bonnet.
Bonnet just has way more with the 4th gate. TT1's been on 2. His 3rd just finished. He invested in that +1. Let's look at the Mutalist count. I think Ziki did a really good job at shooting and chasing. His Mutas are badly bruised, but so are Kenzie's. And look again. Look how many Zealots that is. That's 5 or 6 Zealots that TT1 just doesn't have.
Yeah, it's almost as if that 4+1 is just not... Yeah, I mean, the DT is out, which is great, because I don't think Suzuki anticipated that, so he's not making OB speed anytime soon. That pylon's gonna go down. That means no more production. All these goons are just gonna go straight up because, you know, it's just one DT. They're not scared of just one DT, especially when you're just microing and moving your units as you're fighting. I mean, yeah, I almost question the decision to want to fight when you're going DT tech and you just know that with a forge +1 you're gonna have less units. So I think that was kind of it. That was a questionable decision to want to fight in front of Suzuki's spawn there.
Yeah, the 2 gate forge versus 4 gate, and you're going DT tech. It seemed a little bit questionable, like you said. Kenzie had the faster Spire, but you couldn't really take advantage of it. And GT1 did trade off a lot of Zealots early on. 1 at Bonif, 3 at Ziki, and Bonif just didn't lose any units whatsoever. So with that, they just had way less army. So the decision to go attack was not great.
All right, so where are we at in the series? Is it 2-1 for Suzuki and Bonnet now?
It's already 2-0.
Oh, 2-0. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, the adjustments were made. I think you know, the Suzuki and Bonnet are playing the way that they want to play. They want to fight and they want to engage because they feel like they can control their units better. And I continue to think that Kenzie and TT1, you know, that doesn't mean that they can't fight. It's just kind of like in the games that they won in the first series. Just kind of being a little bit more poised, I think. I like the lings of Kenzie. I think that's a strength of Kenzie. So I like for them to go back to their roots of how they've won the first series in the first place, which was a lot of just decisive decision making, not a lot of just camping around and and then deciding to fight kind of thing. It was more like it was a different flow that we didn't see in the last two matches here. So I'd like for them to go back to that because I think they have an edge when it comes to the quantity of like macroing and being decisive with their units.
And with that 2 quick games, it snowballs from an early advantage. Like we saw in game number 1 where TT1 could never break out, and here TT1 just had less units, but this definitely came down to decision making. Like if you're teching up as heavily as TT1 was, it didn't make sense to go out, especially when you're blind to what Bonus is doing. But yeah, they still have a shot here, and they could definitely come back here. They have some strategies planned out, sure, down 2-0. So let's see what they can come up with in game number 3. And it's going to be on game line, and let's jump into that. All right. In the top left, we have Ziki as the blue Zerg. In the top right, we have Bonus as the blue Protoss. Bottom right, we have TT1. And bottom left, we have Kenzie. Alright, so TT1 saying, next time I'll just go fast TT when we're playing macro style. So the question is, what does Ziki do? So we've seen him be aggressive. We've seen him be going 12 hatch, predicting overpool. Haven't seen overpool that often.
Yeah. Yeah, so both players are making an Overlord and oh boy. Look at that. Suzuki made a mistake and he made two Overlords. Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
Why we're not canceling them is another question. But clearly a mistake. He really doesn't want to make Overlords later. Maybe his O key broke and he's just being preemptive with his Overlords.
Wow, that's a huge mistake.
That is a very big mistake because his pool is that much more behind, and Kenzie is going 12 hatch. So yeah, that's maybe he really doesn't want Bonnet to die to DT, so he just he just had it top of mind.
Kenzie's saying, what the heck? Because he just saw the Overlords. I mean, this is catastrophic, about as bad as it can get. You go triple Overlord into pool until delayed hatch.
Against 12 hatch.
DT1 already saying, I'm going DT. So it looks like they're going to play defensively. Probably going to see Spire. And
Yep.
I mean, unfortunate for Ziki Bond. They're not really going to be able to do anything in the early game. They're just trying to catch up already from the get-go.
Yeah, Bonnet is making gas here about the same timing as TT1, so I think it's going to be less Zealot heavy. No layer yet from Kenzie, so it looks like Kenzie actually made the Ling speed first, I believe. which I think Suzuki did as well. Yeah, so Kenzie's gonna have the economy advantage. Got 2 more drones. He's got a second hatch production already going, whereas Suzuki is still building that second hatch. This first Zealot is just kind of poking around, just taking a look. But both both TT1 and Kenzie are not in a position where they get caught off guard. TT1's got Zealots and Kenzie's got more than enough economy to start pumping out Lings. So if I had to make a prediction here, I would think I think we're gonna see Corsair from Bonnet, but especially because Kenzie's a little bit further in his tech. I mean, it's close, but we'll see what they decide to do here.
There's a lot of units, and yeah, second sunken going down for Kenzie. Ziggy, in the meantime, hasn't made any. TT1 is teching up quickly, so they're playing very defensively here. Looking to get into the mid game. They have the faster tech. There's a third gate actually from Boneth. Oh, looks like a missed opportunity potentially to snipe that Overlord, but Ziggy's Lings are coming to defend it, so.
Yeah, Kenzie needs to make a mental note of that Overlord and any other Overlord that was spotted on the map, because when your ally is going DT, the Overlords are going to be able to find them, and you want to kill those Overlords. Nice little cheeky move there from Kenzie, entrapping the Zergling behind the Spire. It's going to allow him to stack. I think Boneth going Goon here is actually a good thing for Kenzie and TT1, because without OV speed, these DTs are going to get their money's worth. So it's going to force a OV speed upgrade from Suzuki, which is going to be that much less gas to make the Muta, which gives Kenzie the edge in terms of Muta. In turn, Kenzie and TT1 don't know what Bonnet's tech is. They have to assume it's probably Goon, but they could also be thinking Corsair, kind of like what I was thinking. So TT1's going to make the DTs and follow it up with Goons. But I would think this DT is going to do enough work, even just showing the DT here, keeps Bonnet and Suzuki a little bit honest. And I think at the very least it's going to give them the time that they want to do what they want. And Kenzie is taking a ninja base at 6. I kind of love that.
It's a little bit interesting. We're at the ramp, actually. Cannon won't be done. We do have a lot of units to block, though. So this DT shouldn't get in. Oh, that was cute from bottom. You see the small pullback there?
Yep.
Right, so TT1 checks the cannon, sees he's going to complete in time. And he's not going to be able to run away here. We actually have an Overlord coming in from Ziki. So, like you said, now Kenzie's job is to try to snipe any stray Overlords. We actually already have the Spire for Ziki, but we're going to be working with 1 less Mutalist, potentially 2 if he invests in that OV speed, which we don't see quite yet. We actually have a Robo from Bono.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Robo, because it, for Ziki to make the OV speed, which is 150 gas and 150 minerals. I mean, that's a Muta right there, a Muta and a half each. So, I like to see that Bonnet is electing to get the detection. He's going to have a lot of units when the observer is out and might find himself a timing. I think what they want TT1 to do here is to take an Expo, and then once that observer is out, have a timing to either kill it or make something happen. But TT1's smart, and he's not going to make an Expo just yet. I think in this spot, it's really important to continue to pump units, because they're not going to be contained forever. And in reality, there's no DT, so it's not like they have a reason to be this defensive, but at the same time, they're going to wait for the observer. So that OV from Suzuki is going to spot that TT1's thinking about an Expo, but doesn't necessarily have an Expo just yet. So that's a lot of information. Suzuki has a lot of Lings as well. He's low on drones, but he's got a lot of armies. So I think with this composition, with Bonnet's army count and the observer, they're going to look for a timing here. Kenzie having 2 gas, though, is huge. If this game goes for another 3 minutes or so, that second gas of Kenzie's is going to kick in, and it's going to be extremely, extremely potent because mutas do quite well against exactly what they're going for.
And I'm looking, all these drones that were made from Kenzie are links from Ziggy. So at this moment, look at this army advantage from the blue team. It's absolutely massive. Then they're catching TT1 below his ramp. Kenzie coming in from the flank with his own links here. The Mutalist versus Mutalist fight. Is Ziki targeting better than Kenzie? It's like it's very close. We have 5 only left for Kenzie there. Gets absolutely demolished, and now TT1 should just go to the high ground. There's no way for him to hold here.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about. It's tricky because they didn't know exactly what Bonif and Suzuki were doing, so TT1 had felt like he had the time to put up his natural, but you know, Bonif was just making units all day, and as soon as that observer was up, couple that with the Lings and Muta, you know, they felt very confident in launching this type of attack. So, you know, at this point, I think Kenzie, you know, he did spend the money for the speed OV. Yeah, TT1's gonna GG here. GG.
And that's it. Another quick game. So, I mean, I can't even call it greed. Kenzie did make a lot of drones, but really it was just lack of scouting information. And they were actually like, the position wasn't great for them because they both expanded and they were at an army deficit, like a big army deficit. Bonif went 48. TT1 invested into 1 DT. Tech only got the 1 DT. Gave them some time, but both couldn't expand, I think. It's just they don't know what's going on the other side of the map. Kenzie had a slight advantage. Like, I'm pretty sure even in that fight he lost, he had 1 more Mutalist, possibly even 2. But what happened there is that Ziggy targeted constantly Kenzie's Mutalist, and for a moment there, Kenzie was actually attacking a Dragoon. So
yeah,
I mean, just 1 macro slip up like that can the fight.
Yeah, really exciting series. I think the adjustments that Suzuki and Bonif made for the second best of 5 series really showed, and they almost, you know, took away the advantages that TT1 and Kenzie have by, you know, having these types of timing attacks where it just forced TT1 and Kenzie to kind of turtle up, which wasn't the case in the games that they won in the first best of 5 series. So. Really impressive job from Bonif and Suzuki in making those adjustments and, you know, showing a pretty dominant win in the second series. So hats off to Bonif and Suzuki for winning the grand finals and winning this 2vs2 Pro League. It was extremely competitive, and, you know, this is the final cast of 2vs2 in BSL. So I just want to throw out to all the viewers and 2vs2ers specifically that if you enjoyed these casts, if you enjoyed this tournament, and if you enjoy watching these players play, definitely show your support, because you know, we don't want to take it for granted. It's been a long time coming for this to come to fruition, and you know, it'd be great if we can keep doing the 2vs2 part of the BSL series. It's just extremely fun and entertaining, and I know I'll be tuning in, you know, if and when we have another season.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, hopefully we get another one, because these are fantastic games, and just the format, the hype a tournament brings to the community, it's all great. And I almost forgot about this last game, Ziki with the overpool triple overlord opener. He was able to come back from that disastrous opening against the Tovad.
Yeah, I think Suzuki was
that...
just flexing. He was just flexing. He's like, I can just do this and still win.
But with that, we are done with this, and we have new champion. First time 2v2 Pro League. It's gonna be Bonif and Ziki. Bonif on a run, unprecedented run, just seems to win every tournament. Ziki finally winning one. He's always been in the BSL round of 8, round of 4, but to win his first major tournament like this, great for him. And GT1 Kenzie, not too shabby of a run, even managing to win against Ziggy Bonif in the first best of 5. Pretty impressive. So
yeah, hats off to everybody. All the contestants and certainly the 4 players that we had in the grand finals, just really really competitive and a good showing from really everyone. So Bonith with the triple crown. I don't know if we're doing anything special for him, but I think it's the first time for any foreigner to seize gold in all the major events. So congratulations are in order for Bonith and Suzuki. Very well deserved.
yep, for sure. It was a great tournament and great games. Great to cast as well.
Yeah, I really
What do
enjoyed
you?
it. Zero, thanks a lot for organizing everything. You and your team, Han, behind the scenes, very very just well structured, and everything is just. I was a participant in this tournament, and even though I didn't cast too many of the games, from a player standpoint and from a casting standpoint, this is definitely a very well organized structure, and uh, one thing that I'll say is if we can get enough support from the 2vs2 community, it'd be great to continue to keep this thing going, and maybe even throw in the potential of having Koreans added to the ladder, because I think one thing that I've noticed, at least in laddering and ShieldBattery, there's quite a bit of Korean players that play as well, and I love to see like the best players in the foreign community stack up to those guys, and players like TT1 and Kenzie, obviously Bonnet and Suzuki, they hold their own against like the best Koreans too. So just kind of throwing that out there. But yeah, let's definitely try to continue to support and grow this thing, and because we know the folks like Zero and the BSL team have it well in place to put out as good content as they do. So uh, so just kind of throwing that out there.
For sure. And I think we're done, guys. Unless you have something